there's a delay between when Nick thinks of something and his hands do it.
75 people are waiting.
Oh, no.
That's 3/4 of our whole audience. I mean, come on.
At least I'm getting a pre-roll ad. Now I'm going to skip ads, see what happens. Now we're up. Now we're live.
Oh, we're good now.
Thank
Okay.
God.
Hey,
Thank God.
How are you? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, because I subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub, and yesterday when I went to take my nap, where either I watch ASMR videos on my laptop or I, with the whole thing.
Sure.
Now, as I'm getting older, it's much more ASMR.
Yes.
And when I open up my YouTube, there they were, clips of yours truly in the gang talking about this and that.
Huh.
And I watched it and I went, ew. This sucks.
I just saw Wallach wave at one of the YouTube cameras.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to have burned into my retinas for
I
a
was
while.
welcoming everyone in. It's Friday morning, We're all working for the weekend, Hardy.
I can't,
I
don't even want to be here now.
Feel free to leave.
No.
If you really need to.
No, you'll get in trouble. I'll get you in trouble. If you leave, I'll tell. If you, John, has anyone unsolicited slid into your DMs with a photo of a large rump?
No. I would appreciate it, but no, hasn't happened.
Oh. Well, yesterday I got a text from a friend and a email from someone else that own stores that most of the clientele is homosexual.
Uh-huh.
One's a consignment shop. They said to give the name, but I don't feel like going through my phone right now. And the other one is like a coffee shop. And it's a big thing for the staff to put together playlists of songs that they want to hear while they work. And I can tell you that the two songs.
Hey. Yeah, you. Oh, you a shy one, aren't you? So cute. Nerdy bear. Behind them glasses, you a dirty bear. So shake that ass in daddy underwear.
And we found out Daddy Underwear, there was some debate, and I was wrong, and John was right. Tighty Whities.
Yeah.
Daddy Underwear.
Mm-hmm.
So shake that ass in daddy underwear.
Because Tom, the guy who sings it, is in tremendous shape, but he's like a smaller man. Been described in my text message chain as a twink. Very, very big fan of the Bears, and the bear in this vote for Nerdy Bear is a heavy gentleman, like a hairy, heavy guy.
What would a cub be? Would a cub just be a smaller bear, or would a cub be someone who follows around a bear?
Cubba-dubba-doo. I don't know. What, you don't have the computer in front of you? I mean, go to Webster's.
And let me sneak into your secret lair. It's a Friday night and the club is bumping, but you're hanging tight and cuddling with the pumpkin.
Cuddling with the pumpkin?
Yeah, with the pumpkin. I'm your little pumpkin.
Oh.
I'm your little...
Just learn
You're a little
something.
peanut.
Learn something new every day.
Cubba-dubba-doo.
What's that?
Cubba-dubba-doo. That smash bros combo lock tight. I'll be your princess, your link, that's right. Up, up, down, down, left, right, be a start. That's the cheat code to open my heart.
See, I was right. The cub is either a young or younger-looking version of a bear, usually with a smaller frame, but sometimes used to imply being the passive partner in the relationship.
Is it fair to say passive partner? Is that like saying that it's a bottom? Because I don't know if a bottom's necessarily the passive partner.
No, if you just someone's outgoing and kind of, this, what's the word I'm looking for? Very outgoing, extroverted bear type. kind of a dominant personality.
Oh,
than
no.
the other
But
person
now
being
you're
the
throwing
passive.
around keywords that can be because dominant.
All
would
of
be a
these
top.
words have different double meanings. So every word I use is gonna
listen,
be a red flag.
No. They're not red flags. Believe me, we're champions of
Red
the gays.
handkerchiefs,
Well, they're not. They're
yellow
not in,
handkerchiefs,
they're not in
blue
gangs.
handkerchiefs.
A blue handkerchief means that you like
That's the Crips.
purple and blue means
Fruit
S&M.
Loops.
S&M.
Oh.
Dan, go ahead.
Coming up a boys. I love the show. You guys have really hit your stride. I picture some older conservative man turning on the radio, trying to get his local sports news and just hearing all this. It's hilarious to me. But I want to give Wallach the biggest credit. He made me laugh out loud yesterday for the very first time when you were talking about that plane that looks like a butt. And he said I would board it differently, and I loved it. Good job, Wallach. You are hitting your stride as well, sir.
That
Appreciate it.
is
Thank you.
actually Nicholas made a video of that very joke, and it stands alone at Fred Toucher at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram and whatever on Twitter. Are we? Is it out? Do you put those on Twitter too? At Toucher and Hardy on Twitter. Twitter, I'm not so concerned about anymore. I have a feeling this is going the way of the dodo. Instagram though is what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And those are up, and there's a video. Nick made a very good video, including a picture of the plane that does look like an ass.
Yes.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a plane, and it's not us being, even immature. This plane is an ass.
No, it was built so it would look that way.
Yeah, it would look like
that
an
much
ass.
is obvious. Yes.
And John, but the way that it came up is someone said, John, you have such a terrible Twitter name, at Ken Griffey Rules. What would you change it to? And he said, what do you say, Booty Man 69 or something?
Bubble Butt 69.
Bubble Butt 69, which was Hardy and I laughed and didn't tag and just paused and let it sit.
The line about boarding it differently though, that one escaped me in the moment. So good for you, Wallach.
Nothing like a good tushy.
That's right.
And then that got me interested. If in the case the cabin pressure dropped, if you would never put on the oxygen mask because you'd almost want it to smother
Suffocating
you.
inside the huge ass of an airplane.
Right, yeah, that it would be the ultimate fantasy because everyone knows John wants to be smothered by butts.
Right.
But if the oxygen left the plane, that he could be smothered inside of a huge butt.
Mm.
And that just that's just science. That's just my time. When I was a kid, I was on Mr. Wizard, and it never really got out of my brain.
Sure.
That's just science. So there you go. It's an exciting time, isn't it? It's Friday.
It is.
Are you guys going to go to the Red Sox?
No.
They're playing the Detroit Tigers, the Motor City Kitties. You're not going to
How
go?
about you? Now, this is a good question for him, though. Hardy, are you going to one of these games this weekend?
No.
No, I am not.
No.
I am going on Sunday.
Yes, you mentioned you were going to go on Sunday, and it's a shame because you are going to miss one of the better pitchers in baseball.
Yes.
The Tigers have 4 games here, and unfortunately, the one guy who they skip in the rotation here is the one guy that's going to represent them in the All-Star game.
And but Bayo is pitching.
Okay.
On Sunday, so that's all right. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it.
Yep.
But I can't. I can't participate in the wave or
No.
cheer for the home team because I'm going to be rooting for your Detroit Tigers. I'm sorry. And the good news is no Tiger fans will be there because they won't travel. All right. What's coming up? I heard something about a basketball game.
There was a basketball
with a
game
villain
last night.
A dirty villain.
Last night, as the Dallas Mavericks visited the Minnesota Timberwolves in an attempt to close out that series, there was a Red Sox game last night. There was a hockey game last night. We'll find out about all that stuff. We'll also find out what the Celtics think about maybe some early insight as to what they think about their opponents in the NBA Finals. That'll all be happening.
Yeah.
You want to hear what it sounds like when John gets a boner?
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. It was a bird noise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be at the Chuckle Hut this weekend doing 2 shows. Open up for Paula Poundstone. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Ryan Williams with 120.
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, we now know what will happen on Thursday.
We do. It's still almost a week away, but the NBA Finals are set. Of course, we know your Boston Celtics will be there. They were awaiting the outcome of the Western Conference Finals series between the Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves. Dallas missed out on the opportunity to close things out at home the other night, so they had to visit Minnesota. Luka Doncic, very much put off by the situation. He was not able to perform.
It's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, no, that's not it, Luka. Come on.
Insane. I think we got a great team.
Oh, I thought these were highlights, and they are not. All right, well, Luka, you did very well last night as you led your team to a 19-point lead at the half. Minnesota Timberwolves on the brink of elimination. They force at least a Game 5. They come back home, and they score 19 first-quarter points, 21 in the second, as Dallas is up 19 at the half.
29.
Are you sure about that?
Well, they had 40, and it was 69-40 at the half.
Oh, that's 29 points. Thank you very much, Wallach. Yeah, my math is a little bit off.
Yes.
So, yes, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving went out there and asserted themselves early. Here we go. I still don't see it here. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Now we got him. Luka, let's hear what you did last night. Finally.
Luka along the left side, the hash mark, over Edwards for three. He hits again. And I think Luka wants to send a message to Anthony Edwards here.
I apologize for not being able to find that at first, but you know what? Really, I've seen this before from Luka, and I saw it again last night, especially in that first half. I am amazed at the way he is able to handle the ball into double coverage. When guys converge on him, he gets the ball, he takes the ball, he brings the ball from the backcourt oftentimes, and then he holds on to the ball, and then they will converge on him, and he'll get double coverage when he gets right there to the top of the three-point line, starts going in, someone else closes in, and he not only dribbles around them, but he keeps the ball in front of his body.
Slow.
He goes right
slowly.
He does this like slow motion crossover, and they can't get the ball away from him.
Yeah,
I don't get it, Fred.
I have been fascinated by Luka's game this year because he is tall and fat, but he's very strong. So he has a very unique game in that you know how if you played like as an adult, you played good fifth graders, like fifth graders that were quick and like could handle the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how would you? And they're in much better shape than you. How would you handle it? You would put your shoulder down, and you would muscle them.
Yes.
And you would just knock them off you, and then if there's a double team, he's good at kicking it out. And if he wants to, he can shoot a fadeaway that they can't block. So he's slow. He's slow for a basketball player. He doesn't have like a big vertical, but he uses his size and strength and bumps guys off of him and creates that little bit of space.
And that must be it. That must be what I'm seeing, because it looks like guys are right there in perfect position to just kind of like steal the ball away, and they can't get to him. They can't, and it's right here. The ball's right here, and I'm going to go in between you.
That's right.
And in between, I'm going to go to the you can see what he's doing. He's going to go to the left, and then he's going to go to the right, and he's going to cross over a couple of times, and anybody else would have the ball knocked away instantly.
The funny part about Luke is because he does all of this, and he's very slow in doing it, you think, okay, the ball's right there. You should be able to get it. People complain how slow Bird was when he was here. Luke is slower than Bird, and he still manages to get the shot off. He still manages to get inside and score, and every shot he takes goes in. And he scored 20 points in the first quarter. He probably could have had 6 or 8 more.
Well,
Fred, the Dallas Mavericks run an offense, and we've talked about this before, that is different than any other offense in the NBA. In the NBA, it's all about being fast. Being fast, getting the ball to the perimeter, getting open threes. You watch the Celtics for 5 minutes. That's what they do. Quickly up the floor, get a three. Don't wait until there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. When Luka is on and Kyrie defers to him, it's Doncic dribbling the ball around for 18 or 19 seconds.
Right. But then
shooting it.
Then he takes shots.
He'll kick it out. I mean, but yeah, he dominates
it's
the ball.
His choice as to what happens.
Oh yeah. He doesn't take every shot, but yes, you're right. He slowly.
100% of the time, it's his choice.
Absolutely.
Either he shoots it or he decides where the ball goes.
Well, and things got a little weird after the game. I heard an ESPN analyst say that now Luka was the best player in the NBA, better than Jokic, because Doncic is still playing right now.
Okay.
Which is ludicrous.
Okay.
Doncic a big defensive force.
He's one of the 3 best players. By definition, he was a finalist for the MVP award, but he's not the best.
I don't know.
Jokic is the best.
There's a lot of guys I'd rather have on my team than Doncic. Not a lot, but more than 3. He can't play defense. Anyway, getting back to the Celtics, people talk about how, the Celtics have like great, perimeter defenders. Look, Doncic is listed at 6'7", 230. Doncic is 6'7", 260. I mean, 6'7", 250. No one's going to stop him from scoring on the Celtics. They're not going to stop him from scoring. Now they're the better team, and they should be able to shut other people down. But I think you would agree, John. He's a 6'7", 250 point guard. Like as great as a defender as Holiday is, like he might mess him up a little bit, but Doncic is going to go for 30 a game.
Give Jimmy Stewart credit. He was the one who posted this. There are advanced stats that show how the on-ball defenders did against Doncic the last 2 years. The guy who was the best out of Holiday and White and Tatum and Brown is Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was the best defender on both Doncic and Kyrie. I would expect that it won't be Holiday, it won't be White, it'll be Jaylen Brown on Luka Doncic when the NBA Finals start.
And that's interesting because if you're making him commit that much defensively, do you think that's going to hurt his offensive game at all?
I'm sure it will because, as you mentioned, Doncic is a load to carry around, but fortunately the Celtics have a lot of depth in scoring.
Would you, because I've heard this strategy before, like do you kind of just let Doncic and Kyrie get theirs and then stop everyone else?
No.
It's too many. You can get one guy. You can allow one guy to get theirs, but you can't allow 2.
Well, Doncic is going to get 30 points a game.
That's the thing, and you could do what you can to try and stop Kyrie, but if he's on, you can't stop him either.
Yeah.
You can't just leave the 2 of them alone. I mean, you saw what happened last night. Both guys scored 36, and Dallas wins going away. That's the problem. When one of them is on, all of a sudden Dallas is scoring every time down the floor.
Yeah.
So you can't just do that. You have to figure out something else.
Well, the Celtics should be able to put points up against this team.
Yes.
And so that's a good thing. And you say that they slowed it down. One of the weird things coming out of Minnesota is that they were fatigued, which I don't. They were the younger team than Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they were fatigued. Like
it's mental fatigue, Fred. Just the stress of being in the conference finals. It's mentally draining.
Well, they were the better team, Minnesota, and the excuse that's being used around the NBA is that they were fatigued, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
The Denver series took a lot out of them.
That 7-game series took a lot out of them, but then they were at home for games 1 and 2.
Yeah, the thing
their best player is 22.
Yeah, the thing I kept hearing last night is cliche, but it makes sense. You have to. There's something to be said about being there for the first time, as opposed to a team that's experienced and had already been there before.
Oh yeah. If I'm a Minnesota fan,
Dallas was in the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago with Doncic. They've been to this point, so. Minnesota, although they were spectacular this year, they have a lot of young guys that were never there before.
Yeah, if I'm Minnesota, I'm not firing my coach or upset.
No, you run it back. You bring everybody back next year.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them. They were not a good defensive team, a great defensive team during the season.
There's a lot of debate about Gobert. I'm interested to see where that all falls because it might be unfair just because he was so publicly humiliated by Doncic. Like in a very important situation, the defensive player of the year couldn't stick with a fat, slow guy behind the 3-point line.
The biggest problem, in my opinion, that Gobert poses is that offensively, he's nothing. You saw when Dallas went ahead in the first half last night, Gobert took the majority of the shots from Minnesota on the offensive end of the floor. Dallas will take that. Anyone will take that.
Yeah.
All day long. Gobert he's better than Robert Williams, but he has a similar game. You take him outside of 5 feet, that's a problem offensively. So That's the thing. Gobert, go right ahead. You want to take those little jumpers in the lane, try and score on putbacks, by all means. Do that.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to. Gobert 4 for 8 last night. He had 9 points. It was just it wasn't a no-show by the Timberwolves. They just couldn't do anything to stop, as we said, Luka Doncic, and they couldn't stop Kyrie.
Oh, I think it was a no-show.
I think they ran. So did I. But they ran into what we just talked about, where both guys that you expect will, on any given night get their points. They allowed both guys to get their points.
Right.
That's it.
And the other part of it is they were down by so much so fast. I mean, Dallas, I think it was a 17-1 run to end the first quarter, and you're down quickly. You're down 17, and then you're down 29 at the half in an elimination game.
Yeah.
Once again, never been there before. You're punched in the face. You saw what happened. You got a lot of young guys that weren't ready for it.
You had 2 guys go for 72 points last night. It's like
Luka outscored Minnesota by himself in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, yes. So that is your matchup there. What does Shaquille O'Neal think about this matchup?
4 straight wins for the Boston Celtics over the Dallas Mavericks.
You know what's interesting, Ernie?
What is?
These 2 teams are playing great basketball right now.
Did they play after they made the trade?
Yes. Yes, they did. They played March 1st. PJ had 17 in that game, but it was a
he wasn't this
win.
PJ though.
Yeah.
All of these guys were feeling their way out. They're not feeling their way out anymore.
Well, I still haven't seen anything to make me think the Celtics not going to win the championship.
You've always kind of hedged that with this: if Porzingis does play or doesn't play.
What if he doesn't play? What if Porzingis doesn't play?
That's a great question, Kenneth.
But
and do you have an answer?
Thanks, I asked it.
That's why I asked.
That's a good point, Ernie. We got another week. I still like the Celtics.
Without Porzingis.
Without Porzingis, I still like the Celtics. They got 4 guys that can guard Luka and Kyrie. And Luka and Kyrie can't guard those guys on the other end, in my opinion. So I like the Celtics.
The Celtics do not have 3 or 4 guys that can guard Luka. I like Dallas in this series. I like the way they're playing. Been anxious to see Luka. This is like my first time seeing him a lot. Big body, bigger than I thought he was, stronger than I thought he was. Once he gets you on the side, sort of like a big man. I don't see anybody on Boston dealing with that. Maybe Tatum.
Did Shaq just say that Luka was bigger than he thought he was and stronger than he thought he was?
Correct.
So this is the first time that Shaq is getting a chance to see Luka Doncic play?
I believe he said it's the 3rd time I've seen him a lot. What does that mean?
It shows that how invested those guys on Inside the NBA are.
They watch nothing. I mean, the epitome of entertainment. Oh, yeah. That game was on. Yeah.
It's like when we went to the Reds game and said, oh, Messi, he's smaller than I thought he was.
Yeah.
Because I had never seen him in person before. But Shaquille O'Neal, seen Luka Doncic, oh, he's bigger than I thought he was.
Somehow, I don't think they're sitting there breaking down film inside the NBA.
Every once in a while, you peel back the curtain, you're like, oh, so that's what they do.
No,
okay.
no. I think that I think they're very comfortable just going off the cuff about things.
They go out to dinner. Between halftime and postgame.
Well, this is not a joke. You've seen the footage of Atlanta with Shaquille O'Neal asleep in a chair, while they're screwing with him. Like they're supposed to be watching games, and Shaquille O'Neal is asleep in a chair. They drink there, they're having a good time.
That's why they're upset. The night of drinking has been taken away from them between the 4 of them.
I agree with him, though. A lot of this hinges on Porzingis. You need that extra weapon. If you have a guy, or maybe forbid 2, that are just going to go out there and get their points, and there's not a lot you can do about it for 2 very different reasons. Luka's just going to, as we said, muscle his way into situations. He's gonna be strong on the ball. and facilitate for other people and hit shots himself. Kyrie is just elusive and can shoot from anywhere also.
He's more of a Holiday or White problem. I think
Okay,
Luka's a
but
Jaylen Brown problem.
if that is what it's going to be, then you're going to need guys who can score at will too. And so far, Jaylen Brown has shown he can do it consistently. Derek White might be the guy on a given night. Hell, Drew Holiday might be the guy. You need Porzingis to be that other go-to. Okay, he's going to get his tonight. So what is the status on Kristaps Porzingis?
I know he's gotten better each day. I know he's working hard. So, he's progressing well, and he's working really hard to get back. I'll get more when I go downstairs when he comes in today.
There hasn't been any setback or anything like that.
No.
I think he's going to play. We haven't got any reason to believe he's not going to play. I don't love him working still to get back. Wouldn't you rather hear him or at least indicate that, he could have played, in this last series. We didn't need him.
He had the same injury as Giannis, and I remember they talked to Giannis after Milwaukee got bounced in the first round, and it had been, 3 weeks or a month, and Giannis admitted he was nowhere close. So, look, I think he's going to play. I think Kristaps Porzingis is going to play. We had the Woj report that said, Game 4 of the last series, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, was something the Celtics were targeting as a possibility, which meant to me he's close. I was kind of surprised when he was inactive for Game 4, and now you had those extra 10 days off. I bet you he plays. I bet you he plays next week.
All right, there you go. You can hope and hope and hope upon hope. All right, Hardy, when we come back, what we discuss?
Oh, well, the Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers in town.
Motor City Kitties.
That's right. It was a good start of the series for the Sox. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah, they're up against the mighty, mediocre Tigers.
There you go.
They're not too hot, not too cold. Just right there, hovering around 500. Mm-hmm. Birds of a feather, as a matter of fact, the two teams. We'll be right back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Luka Doncic scored 36 points. Dallas beat Minnesota last night 124-103 to win the Western Conference Finals in 5 games, and that means they will be at TD Garden for Game 1 of the NBA Finals this coming Thursday night. The Detroit Tigers got a 2-run homer from Riley Green and a great start from Jack Flaherty. They beat the Red Sox at Fenway Park last night 5-0 in the opener of a 4-game weekend series. Sox managed 2 hits for the evening. They're a game under 500. They pitched Tanner Houck against the Tigers tonight. The Florida Panthers beat the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden 3-2. Panthers now lead the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals 3-2. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I feel the pain of everyone. Jay Mask is from the area. New Hampshire. All right, so what's coming up, Hardy? What do we got? What happened last night? You fill the people in. You go. I got only so much time on my hands.
Last night, you got enough time to go see the Tigers this weekend.
Sunday afternoon matinee. Come say hello to your friend. I'll sign your tie-dyes.
Well, you got a chance to say hello to some baseballs that got knocked into the stands last night.
Wait. What happened?
Oh, no.
Huh? What happened?
Well, they were scoreless through 4 innings.
Yeah.
A real pitcher's duel going on over at Fenway.
So it's okay. So here I see it. It's the 4th inning. It's 0-0. Now I believe we're in the top of the 5th. Okay, we're in the top of the 5th. And let me think here. The third baseman's up. Take me through it.
He homered to left center. What do you want?
Fred's been robbed of his opportunity.
Left center. That's a long ball at Fenway.
399 feet.
Come on.
Made it 1-0. Score was 2-0.
I don't believe you. Until there's evidence, I don't believe you.
2-0 going into the 8th. I mean, it's anybody's ball game, and then Riley Green got to the plate.
Riley Green, the color of money.
Riley Green hits a high fly ball to left. Raz Snyder going back to the green monster, looking up.
It's the life of Riley. He's living the life of Riley. He's got a green thumb. If a green thumb helps you grow dingers.
Riley Green, 2-run shot, number 10.
Riley, more like Miley.
What?
Cyrus.
I thought that maybe he hit it a mile for Miley.
Those rhyme. I get it. All right.
Huge here in the 8th. The Tigers lead 4-0.
Oh, Riley, you made me smiley with the ding-dong. Thank you so much, sir, for the souvenir. Riley, I got a kid at home who's sick. Could you sign it?
That made the score 4-0. The Tigers would have had a unneeded insurance run.
Insurance. Call it a Mika and give yourself a peace of mind.
5-0 the final last night from Fenway Park. Oh.
Yeah, well, listen, Jack Flaherty is not going to just... not going to just sit down for you. I mean, he's going to come in there, and he was. You could have had him. Yes. The Red Sox could have had him.
They specialize in scrap heap pickups too, so I'm surprised they let that guy slip through with their fingers.
Yeah, he was considered a good pitcher at the beginning of last year. I don't know if he's fallen apart that much.
I think probably Baltimore would argue that after watching how he pitched for the Orioles after St. Louis got rid of him.
Yeah.
I would think the way he finished the season, that's the definition of scrap heap. People who leave St. Louis don't always get better. As a matter of fact, they probably get worse.
He's better than Pivetta.
Well, all right. What's the bar here? What are we comparing?
Pivetta.
Okay.
I'm comparing the 2 starters from yesterday.
You want to go through the rotation of the Red Sox here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Arm by arm. Go.
Mr. Milliken, call in. Post haste.
Yeah. The Red Sox and Detroit, both 500 teams.
I told
Who could
you.
ask for anything more?
Well, the Red Sox are not a 500 team.
No, now they're a game below 500,
Yeah,
28
right.
and 29. They were 11 and 16 at home. The Tigers, with that win, get exactly to 500 on the season.
11 and 16, the ages of Bobby and Greg, the first season of the Brady Bunch.
Whew. All right. Yes.
Didn't see that one coming. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I had 2 days this week. I had another day this morning.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. There's a lot going on this week. The alarm went off. I don't know if I can do it. It's a short week.
I'll carry you.
Yes, short week.
I'll carry you. I got a lot of jokes.
Artie is struggling at the start.
What happened?
Not a good
I'll
sign.
keep it lighthearted.
Okay.
What happened between the Panthers and the Rangers last night?
I don't know. I hope that Panther didn't eat the Ranger with his picnic basket.
That's a bear. That's not a panther.
Hey, maybe it's like the the African version.
Ah, okay.
An African panther is more like a bear?
I think that you're more likely to find a panther in Africa than a bear. Am I right or wrong? I'm just saying. I'm by topography.
Don't know.
We should let's do that in the 7. Where can you find panthers in the world?
Florida, Hardy. You can find them in Florida.
Well, last night those Panthers were in New York, though, taking on the Rangers. They were at the at Madison Square Garden, and oh boy, they were doing their thing.
The rebound is taken out of harm's way. Luostarinen then on for Lundell. Left side of the circle. Lundell a shot, and he scores! Anton Lundell gives the Panthers their first lead of the night. He lets it rip out of the left circle. It's 2-1 with 9:38 to play here in the third.
What were we asking for yesterday? Can we just have a Rangers-Edmonton Stanley Cup final, please?
You know what's
Can we have
even
this,
worse?
please?
You know what's worse? Sam Bennett scored last night. Had a goal and an assist.
Yeah.
That's the worst out of all of it.
Well, the worst is Chuck Lindell's kid just scored. He was the magic pillow.
Is that what they're called? The My Pillow.
My pillow.
My Pillow.
The final seconds tick away, and the Panthers take Game 5 by a 3-2 final score, and the Panthers take a 3-2 lead in this Eastern Conference Final. The Panthers are now 1 win away from a second straight trip to the Stanley Cup Final.
And if the Panthers get in and they play Edmonton, it's gonna just ruin like the whole Edmonton thing because it's skill versus just
cheap shot artists. Yeah.
And it's not, and it's going to take some of the fun away of watching two of the greats and the greatest. I mean, if the greatest player in the NHL and the greatest player of his generation is being showcased in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're up against a team that's designed and well designed for the playoffs. We've been through this exercise now for a month. I mean, they made moves to get better specifically in the playoffs. Maybe not be as good a regular season team, but that does not make for the most enjoyable hockey. But I think the world will be rooting for Edmonton if that is the case.
Yeah,
and if Edmonton happens not to win, then no one's going to care.
So they play Game 5 tonight. That series tied to 2 games each. If it is a Florida-Dallas final, that's a Stanley Cup final that I might check in on periodically.
I won't watch 1 minute of it.
You won't watch any of it?
If it's Florida and Dallas?
No, I'd rather watch baseball.
Who cares about Florida and Dallas?
There's baseball on every night. There's like baseball teams I care about. I'm not gonna watch that.
That might chase me to the Red Sox if it's Florida and Dallas.
Well, no, I'm not. Unless I'm going, I'm not going to watch the Red Sox.
Just brutal. So they'll be back in Florida for that Eastern Conference Final Saturday night with the Panthers. They have a chance to close things out at home. Now up 3-2 in the series.
You guys don't have the Dong channel? It's like the red zone for baseball.
Oh, is that just home runs?
Is that what that was?
It's just dongs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all night you just go dongs, dongs.
Whip
dongs.
around dong coverage.
Yeah, it's called whip it out dong coverage.
Yeah.
And it's just every time that they think someone's likely to hit a home run, they flash to them.
Every fly ball?
Dong, 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 dong.
Okay.
But then there's a channel on Roku that's the dong channel that's just penises. So you got to be careful.
I got it.
Especially if you're with the kids. That's just accidental, full frontal.
Accidental dong?
Yeah.
You right.
You know what? I never seen the beginning of what's the movie with
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Psycho.
No. Very little full frontal in Psycho. You have to.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Unless you get the director's cut. No, the one where.
Seagull.
Thank you.
Jason
Wow,
Segel.
you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, because I know all the movies with penises.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
And he does gratuitous full frontal multiple times in the opening scenes of that movie.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
it's more of a very long shot of him full frontal. Like it goes on for like an uncomfortable period of time comedically.
But it happens more than once. I've never seen the beginning of that movie, and they cut to it like a second or third time. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see this.
I think it's only one scene that
It's one scene. Well, it's one scene, but it's more than one shot.
Yeah,
in
it
that
goes
scene.
back and forth between the girl and him.
Yeah. Do you need that?
Oh, now Mr. Art. Do we need art? Yeah. And you judge what art is? All right, Mr. Jesse Helms. You can't judge. Do we need that?
Okay, Robert Mapplethorpe, just because...
Thank you.
Long story short...
What the hell are you doing now? Pull up your Chili Guy soundboard.
Some people think they got it right.
You don't have to.
Did you just ask for the Chili Guy soundboard? Is
ju-
that what you asked for?
Just something.
Oh, man.
Anything at all.
Oh, my God.
Anyway. I want to tell you the...
We don't want any judge interfering on a robe trial. And a robe trial means anybody can put a robe on and say, I'm a judge.
The Celtics, by the way, have opened up as plus 225 favorites in the final. Yeah. Plus 225.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm probably looking for 18 million eighths a day, 40, 60 mil, or probably 160 million per year.
That's right. And if you bet the Mavericks right now to win in 4 games, you can get that at plus 2,200. So if you want to bet Dallas to sweep in the NBA Finals, I believe that is your biggest payout right now.
You know the bet you want to take is...
Kuzak ball.
What?
If you win or lose, ultimately...
What?
I said, whether you win or lose, ultimately... And next time, John,
yes,
that you're thinking of, running afoul of the law...
Take the money out and we'll do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's good advice.
You know who might get to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses is the best.
What's your favorite Guns N' Roses song?
Gallagher.
All right. We just got word that there's a bad...
Frosty is a good name to be the president.
We just got word that there is a bad accident, and Albert BREER is running late.
Oh, that seems highly unlikely.
Usually you don't need a bad accident for that.
Oh, God.
What are we going to do?
Oh, God. I hope he's okay. I wonder if he'll be frustrated when he comes in.
So it looks like it is on 93 South approaching 24, and that's where... Well, wait a second.
Wait, if it's south, that's the opposite direction.
No, once you get up to the split coming up from the South Shore, then you bang a left and you're actually on 93 South going up to the... Trust me, John.
Hey,
you don't
that's
know,
your area?
You don't
Come
know
on.
that neck of the woods.
You're right.
But he should have been through that area 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he's lazy. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Touch Your...
Fair Tire Studios, the home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Dallas Mavericks are headed to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011 after blowing out Minnesota in their own building last night, 124-103 to win the West in 5 games. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving both scored 36 points. Doncic was voted series MVP.
It's a good feeling, man. I can't lie. Just go out there and, it's us against them. Just stay together. But that feeling is great.
They'll be at TD Garden Thursday to play the Celtics in Game 1 of the best of 7. The Celtics won both regular season meetings between the two teams. Turning to football, the Miami Dolphins yesterday signed wide receiver Jalen Waddle to a 3-year, $84.75 million contract extension with $76 million guaranteed. Also, Chicago has been named the franchise that'll be on the HBO show Hard Knocks this coming summer. The Red Sox lost to Detroit last night 5-0 at Fenway Park. Jack Flaherty took a no-hitter into the 7th inning for the winners. Sox have lost 5 out of 7. They continue this 4-game series with the Tigers tonight. The Florida Panthers beat the Rangers 3-2 at Madison Square Garden. They lead the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals 3-2. And women's top seed Iga Swiatek and men's 2 seed Yannick Sinner are the headliners in Paris today as the 3rd round of the French Open continues. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cape Cod Lumber and CCL Homescapes. 100% employee-owned, your go-to independent lumber yard. Partner with CCL and CCL Homescapes for all your building needs right in Abington. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Even flow. So those of us, it's live. I've been told by several people that I'm a solid 3. That that when I put myself together in the morning, like 1 is someone who's been really like the Elephant Man. That I'm 2 above that. So I'm thinking I'm working at something. Plus, Hardy gets paid by the golf companies to wear their gear.
I'm not wearing any golf company's gear today. I'm wearing a hat that says Masters on it, but
no, it's just
the Masters would never lower themselves to paying anyone to promote their tournament, Fred. How dare you?
Oh, I thought it was just it was your grandpa's company.
You wearing golf shoes or not? You were yesterday.
He was wearing spikes?
Yeah.
No, they weren't spikes. They were FootJoy sneakers.
I'm sorry.
Some of us don't say master bedroom anymore. Some of us say main room.
Primary suite.
But some of us still are in the 1860s. Hardy at 98.5 thesports.com.
Is this how you're getting into the Scotty Scheffler thing?
You bet you
okay.
$1.
Well, get to it.
All right, so Scotty Scheffler, if you were here, Bert BREER was here, and we were talking about how Scotty Scheffler was arrested, and it was pretty funny because, in all seriousness, not joking around, Hardy was, like, upset.
Bert was all over you that day a couple weeks ago. He was having a lot of fun at your expense that day.
He said one thing to Hardy that got him legit
pissed.
pissed.
It's been a while since I've seen Hardy that upset.
Well, because he was being very, pandering or I guess patronizing to me. Oh, Hardy, I think it's funny how you think you know who these people are. No, I don't claim to be friends with any of them. I don't claim to truly know the every fiber of their being, but as just a person walking around on planet Earth, you're not allowed to have an opinion as to whether or not someone is maybe just on the surface an inherently good or bad person. Like I look at Scotty Scheffler, I'm like, oh, he's a decent guy. I look at Patrick Reed and say, oh, he's a piece of crap. That's just my knee-jerk gut reaction, which I think all of us do.
And it was funny because when he was in Vegas, I saw him, and this is a story we'll tell later on the air, but I saw him, and he was like hanging out with this guy, and I'm like, who are you hanging out with? He goes, David Duke. No, now before you think about it, he's not that bad a guy. He's misunderstood.
Huh.
He's sure he's this huge white nationalist, but he's a hell of a poker player.
Video poker.
Well, he doesn't trust the minorities giving him the right card.
No, but when David Duke and I play video poker together, we share the same machine. We each put 20 in, and it's like, you got to get at least 3 of a kind, or else then it's my turn, and you just go back and forth.
That's fun.
It is fun.
Huh.
Okay. All right. But anyway, so I was teasing Hardy about the Scheffler arrest, and it was funny. And then it turned into being, I guess, what everyone kind of assumed it was. And the guy that, like, allegedly, I apologize to get this better. The guy who allegedly, like, grabbed the car and was dragged didn't have his body camera on.
Yes.
Conveniently. And so the video camera they have is the cop that came up after that incident.
Yeah, and there's a long recording between the cop who's talking to Scheffler after the other guy and Scheffler had their altercation. So this is the audio of the other cop speaking with Scotty Scheffler.
I had to loop all the way around. That way it took me about probably a half hour. Okay. So I'm pulling in here. The police officer up there told me to come the opposite way with the traffic and then come in. And as I was pulling in, my window was down, and the officer told me to stop. And first of all, I did not know that he was a police officer. I thought he was one of the security guards that was mistaken. And as I was pulling by him, he grabbed my arm.
Stop right there. Why does it matter if he's a security guard or a police officer?
And that bothers me because you're more important than a police officer or than a security guard. You're a police officer. Like, a security guard is just some guy. They don't have to go through the training. They can't give you a ticket. A security guard is just some dude. And I gave this example yesterday. Have you ever been in the road while, like, a landscaper was stopping traffic so the truck could get out? Like, what idiot's stopping for that? Get the hell out of the road.
So wait a second. If a landscaper is stopping traffic so a truck can back out of a driveway, you just blow past him and maybe try and brush him with your side view mirror?
I think you took it a little far. If I can safely get by them, I'm not going to sit there. He can't.
What if you were in the line of cars the day I had to jump out and stop traffic because of the accident so that people could go in both directions? That fabled day over on the Mattapan-Roslindale line where I directed
Hardy
traffic.
Recount this.
Where
his
I directed
eyes rolled
traffic.
back in his head. It was a great experience for him.
Were you helping people or hurting people?
Helping people.
So I probably would have liked that you were doing it. If in all honesty, I probably would have enjoyed that you were doing it. You stepped out and you were making traffic move. The audacity of someone to not wait until traffic stops. It just, these are residential roads. Get the hell out of the road. Like, you can't do that. Stand in the road, a-hole. Take up 2 lanes. What's wrong with you? 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, standing there like, oh, well, you're mowing lawns. I guess that gives you the right.
I hope you do all your own yard work and no one ever has to come to your house to take care of anything.
Oh, no, I can't. No, I don't get my hands dirty.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
No. But I mean, I also... I won't talk to them. I mean, having them do it and respecting them are 2 entirely different things, Hardy. I live right by a park, though. We sometimes kick the soccer ball around. Don't worry about it. No, I'm kidding. I'm best friends with my landscaper.
What's his name?
It's none of your I got enough people after me. I think I need to start giving my landscaper's name out?
I don't know what you mean.
This guy in the lobby protecting us. All right, here we go. All right, it continues. But I am serious. Like, the police officer and a security guard, there's a big difference. A police officer can arrest you. I told you a story about, like, the guy at the dog park. And the guy's like, your dog have this whatever tag, not like a rabies tag or a license tag, this like special license tag. And you're like, no. And he's like, okay, well, what's your name? No. Like, no. Are you a police officer? No.
Well, he's a dog cop.
No, he's not. He doesn't work for animal control. So, I mean, it's just like an old guy that like is it's just so funny to me. Like, no. Like, you can't. This isn't like you don't have a warrant situation. This is, you're not like a member of law enforcement. Like, you don't just get to go and get people's information. Cop pulls you over, respectable, this, that, and the third. Security guard starts like busting your balls. Get the hell out of here.
It's not even the busting the balls situation. I just don't necessarily trust every single person who's put in a position, especially at big events like this, to know exactly what they're doing, know where you're supposed to go, how you're supposed to get there. And it's not even necessarily their fault. They can't inform and instruct everybody, especially on a morning like this when there is an accident and things have changed. So really, every single person out there working that day, either as a volunteer or as a security guard or something, they're all on the same page. They know what everyone's supposed to be doing. No. And that's what Scheffler said from the beginning. It was a chaotic situation. Nobody knew where to go. We're all sitting there for, an hour or more trying to go this mile or two into the place, and so he didn't know who he was talking to. I believe Scheffler on that. Okay,
do you know who's a security guard? And I'm not joking. Pasta Joe. Pasta Joe's a security guard.
That's right.
So if he goes, hey, like, what, you're gonna listen to Pasta Joe? He doesn't want you to listen to him.
He just wants the whole incident to be over quickly.
Yeah,
just like, can I move my day along, please?
Yeah. He just, I mean, what percentage of security guards do you think are not high?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, it's a job to get high at.
I'll get up around 10 a.m., eat a bowl of pasta.
That's a security guard.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke.
Because somebody's telling you to stop.
Yes, you're right. I should have stopped. I did get a little bit impatient because I'm quite late for my tea time. And as he was reaching in the car, he grabbed my shoulder and hit me. Like
trying to get you to stop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It seemed to be a little bit over aggressive because the entrance was open.
Okay.
And I pulled a little bit because I was afraid. I thought he was going to start hitting me, and I didn't know who he was. He didn't tell me he was a police officer. All I saw was the yellow jacket. I didn't know what he was doing. I listened to the police officer.
So the thing is, he's wearing a uniform, okay? He also is wearing the same jacket that I have on that says police,
yes.
Okay? Also, on that, if someone's telling you to stop, no matter who it is, you don't keep going. So what happened is you kept going and you took him with you while he's a pedestrian, okay?
Yes.
So you took him with your car and drug him, okay?
Yeah,
which is not a good thing,
I'm
right?
very aware that was.
See,
This is the problem, and this is what we're going to get to when his attorney got into it with a reporter outside. This is the problem right there.
Okay, because what I believe is this police officer who's talking to him has no intention of arresting him, but he also is covering up for his partner, being a good partner. I'm not saying, when I say cover up, I don't mean it's like some nefarious scheme. I just think he's like,
his partner made a move. He's backing him up.
Right, and he's like, you saw he had I didn't know he was a police officer. And he's like, okay, but to get it on tape, you saw he had a police officer uniform on. Like, I think that he's just being a good colleague of the other police officer.
Now, okay, but the other questions, and the attorney is going to refer to this later on, he's saying stuff like, so he reached in and you drug him with you. And Scheffler's like, yeah. And he says, as a pedestrian, and you dragged him with your car. And Scheffler's like,
you're saying that's leading.
It's leading questions. And also, we've all seen the video now. No, he wasn't a pedestrian. I mean, maybe in the strictest sense of the word, he was on his feet, but he didn't drag him. And he wasn't a pedestrian. He said, it was a guy who reached in my window and hit me.
What was it, 5 feet?
Well, I didn't see a video of him hitting him.
I didn't see that.
Well, that's what he said. He said he reached in his window.
So
and he
we're
hit my
believing
shoulder.
him, and we're not believing the police officer that was dragged?
I'm saying that this cop asking those questions, this is why the attorney got all Polly Pissy Pants with the reporter afterward, which I don't agree with what the attorney said when we hear that, completely, but I understand why he's saying what he says.
All right, here we go.
To make it, so listen to me, so make it even worse, when he asked you to get out of the car, you refused to get out of the car.
I still was not aware he was a police officer. I was actually looking out the window of the car to try to find a police officer. I asked.
We're all right here, and he was there.
Believe me, sir. If I knew
we're all wearing yellow vests so you can see us.
If he knew he was a police officer, I would have been much more or less afraid, but panic kind of set in. As you can see, I'm still shaking because I was afraid. I didn't know who he was. He didn't say police, get out of the car. He just hit me with his flashlight and yelled, get out of the car.
We're wearing a lot of police gear. That surely signifies that we're the police.
See, he's trying to save his partner here. He's being like a nice guy to his partner.
If I knew he was a police officer, I would have gotten out of the car. I don't know what to tell you other than I was a little bit panicked trying to get into the golf course, and now I don't know what to do.
Let's go back to the first point, okay? No matter if you thought it was a police officer or not, why are we wearing yellow vests? Why do you think we're wearing yellow vests? So you can see us, right?
Yes.
So you can see us, and if somebody tells you to stop, if it's a traffic guard, security guard, anybody.
What about a jogger?
Yeah. I'm not buying that. I don't think the law is you got to stop for anyone.
What if it's a landscaper wearing a yellow vest? Fred Toucher would tell you to blow right past him.
Okay, do you want to live in a world where anyone can go out and stopping and starting traffic?
I don't think everyone is going to run out in the middle of the street and try.
Okay, but that sets a precedent. I'm not joking. If the rule is anyone in a vest can just go out and just start telling you what to do in the road, then you want to get up on Route 9 in Natick and just have like the plumber from down the street just decide that today he's going to start stopping and starting traffic?
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable for people out there working, driving trucks that need to get out onto the road. We'll sometimes have someone go out there and ask people, hey, can you slow
like
down
everyone
for a
else. I don't get to come out.
Natick, you'll never get out. You'll never get out. Wallach, never get out.
How do you get onto Route 9 in Natick then?
Because you pull out front ways in your car, which is speedy. If you're trying to back out a work truck, it becomes much more problematic.
If there's a red light, traffic stops on Route 9 and you have plenty of time.
You landscaping and plumbing work at intersections. That part I didn't know.
Oh, so 100 yards from an intersection, the traffic doesn't stop?
How about if you go out on Route 9 today and you mark all the places where it's okay to pull in and out and do landscaping?
Every one of them.
What do you mean every one of them?
Because if traffic is bad, they'll let you in. And if traffic isn't bad, there's going to be long gaps. I get on Route 9 every day, several times a day.
You never want people to go out there and say, hey, can you hold on a second so this truck can back up? Never.
No.
Never.
No.
Now you're being an unreasonable cad.
I'm surprised that you just bend over for anyone who just happened. Well, first of all, I understand they have cool things on the truck, which you want to play with.
I forgot about that.
Like, I get that.
He has all the tools that Hardy wants.
But
why is it that just being a reasonable and decent human being to you comes across as bending over and taking it? Oh, this guy needs to back his truck out who's trying to earn a living, and you say,
okay,
no, I'm not doing that.
Let's take landscaper off the table. What if it's someone who's staying that is leaving a house that's on Route 9? That's on Route 9, and they're just leaving a house in a Tesla.
Okay, who's getting out to stop the traffic?
You've never seen someone get out to stop traffic just for a car?
No.
Oh, you guys
I
suck.
haven't.
No,
never.
I'm
not.
Very
just pulling out of a residential house on a main road?
I have.
I've never seen that.
That was never part of the argument. Your argument was about landscapers, and I'm not going to stop
moving the goalposts.
It's the precedent of a non-police officer, and you know it.
No, that's not the precedent. You say nobody should be able to go out there and stop traffic.
Yes, nobody that's not a police officer should be able to do that.
Okay, what about a road crew? How about a construction crew?
They have a cop with them.
Not every single time. They don't have a detail working on every single crew.
They absolutely do.
No, they don't.
In Massachusetts, they absolutely do.
You have to ask, but they don't have to provide. You have to request a detail.
Is that right?
Oh, Okay,
wow.
Dan,
I wish we had a cop. I wish we had a cop in the building we could ask.
We do have a cop in the building, but he's a detective, so I think he's above all this. He has a suit jacket on.
Well, was he? Because the guy who hit Scheffler with a flashlight was also a detective.
On the side of the cops in this, you're the one who's defund the police guy over here with these cops.
Wow. Okay.
You know who he loves?
Now it's getting parried.
He loves land. He's so much for the landscapers, but when it comes down to the boys in blue that protect you and I, you don't have 2 cents. What I'm saying is, I respect police officers. I don't want other people pretending to be police officers.
And you don't respect landscapers.
I do when they're cutting the lawn and if they're
having
working
dinner. For you. All right, I got it.
If they're working,
okay.
you are something else, John.
Hardy's a hippie.
Here we go. Here we go.
So you're saying he's a big phony?
You know what I like about Bert? He shows up 15 minutes late with not one, but 2 hands full of Dunkin' Donuts.
I know. I got it for you guys. It was that was my peace offering.
You could have gotten here sooner.
My olive branch. I could have gotten here at 7:03, but I called in. I didn't want to disrupt the segment, so I was like, okay, I will call ahead.
You didn't want to disrupt the segment?
I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got everybody munchkin.
7:03 is a problem for you? You always get here at 7:03.
Now there's 100 arguments going on. Let me just finish this audio. Let Hardy continue to look like the villain.
Okay.
You have badly misread the situation here, Fred.
Never. I don't buy that. I'm usually universally loved.
That means you stop at that time and you don't keep going. Okay, so stuff like this doesn't happen because you actually hurt him, and he's a police officer. He's got a huge scrape on his knee.
All right, but then it goes on. I don't have it, but it goes on, and he says it's real. The part that I thought was interesting is he goes, "It's up to me. It's not up to me if you get arrested or not. Stay in the car. It's up to the officer." And Scheffler goes, "Can I talk to the officer?" And he goes, "No." So when I heard that, I thought the police officer who's talking to Scheffler is kind of trying to basically smooth everything over and has no intention. I don't think. Do you think that the guy who was talking to Scheffler thinks Scheffler is going to get arrested?
At that point, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. I think he was probably pretty surprised when the guy came up and arrested him. That's my point. And so my point to take away all the joking is that the dude that arrested Scheffler was pretty much acting on his own. He was all pissed off because he'd scraped his knee and that.
Oh, he would 100% fits the profile of a rogue cop.
Well, yeah, because he's been busted for other stuff in the past, like being overzealous in the past. But it sounded so people are busting on the cop that was talking to Scheffler, and I don't really have a problem with the cop that was talking to Scheffler because what's he gonna do? Go the guy I'm with is out of control and he sucks. I think that he handled it well. And the last part of it, he goes, "Now here's the deal: either you're going to jail or you're not. Stay in the car, right?" By saying stay in the car, not come out of the car and cuff you. By staying in the car, and he goes, it's really up to the other guy. And he goes, can I talk to him? And he looks around and he goes, no, I don't think so right now. And then they leave him in the car, right? So I don't think that I think the guy who talked to him is getting kind of a bad rap because I don't think he was doing anything, out of the line of what he should have been doing. Unlike Hardy, who thinks that,
the police should be defunded.
Antifa, he has the hat on.
I'm not going to respond to that.
Hippie.
Don't get them riled up again.
I have some thoughts on the hippie thing. That was very.
Oh, do you? Well, tell them to the cop in the.
It's very entertaining for me.
Yeah. Keep them to yourself.
Keep them to yourself, unless you want more people threatening me. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
play the lawyer.
What were you out yelling at a UPS driver who was trying to snake his way into traffic on Main Street?
If you're not a police officer, you can't direct traffic, or a crossing guard that's employed by the city, you can't direct traffic.
It kills me when, like, there's a guy with a moving truck that does that. Like, hey, I have a moving truck, so now I'm like, it's as like good as having a badge, right? Like,
Right.
They stand in the middle of the street, like wave people through and stop people.
So on brand for you, Sudbury. Absolutely.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the idea that we
Sudbury. What does this have to do with Sudbury?
Because it's the right attitude. It's like, oh, look at these movers. I bet it was some.
No, I mean, no. I'm just saying, like, it's like you just see people like where it's like. Now all of a sudden you're in charge of traffic on the street because you're double parked.
I agree.
This is more from the city than it is from the suburbs.
I agree. I agree with Bert completely. I don't think it's taking a shot at the blue collar man. I think it's saying that the police have a unique power, which is to stop traffic.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a construction crew putting up cones, I'm not going to ram over the cones. But so that's a bad example.
No, but if there's a difference between like something like that, like where like say like they're taking down a tree or something like that,
correct.
and now you've got like a couple cops there that are helping out to direct traffic. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when there's a moving truck double parked, and the person who is driving the moving truck has taken it upon himself to direct traffic. It's like, no. You are not in charge of traffic.
In other words, Commonwealth Avenue at the end of August.
Right.
That can't be legal, by the way.
Oh, the amount of moving day in the city is a nightmare.
Yeah, double parking and city traffic and stuff. I think that's a whole different conversation because that's the Wild West.
Right.
And that gets to the point where it's like, well, you can't do what you're doing right now. You can't throw your hazards on and double park just because you want to go in and get a latte.
Right.
That's different.
Yeah.
But if somebody,
I'm sure it's gotten a million times worse with the mayor putting the bike lanes everywhere.
If you think hippies, don't.
Yeah.
Bicyclists you're okay by me.
Yeah,
you're not. I like you.
You've gone down that route before,
and it wasn't my fault. You
can tell where someone stands when they use the term cyclist. Those are the real lunatics.
I honestly am telling you, I don't want to get into it.
No.
Yeah. Listen.
Nope.
I hope everyone's safe, and I hope everyone enjoys their life. And if you like bicycles, go ahead. Sean, go ahead.
Fred, I love you. I mean it, but you're wrong on this one. Like, I've been in the trades for 25 years. Like, sometimes you have to do it. And Hardy's right, because in the city of Boston, you call for a detail, and if they don't show up, you call in and they tell you, go ahead and do it. So you have to be your own traffic detail.
They tell you to do it?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 1,000%. You call for a detail. The morning of the detail, you got the street closed down on Com Ave. You're like, where's the cop? You call in. They say, sorry, we don't have enough. Go ahead and do it.
All right, wait, but but you say you've closed the street with like cones?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, that's different.
But anything, even if the street's not closed, if we have like a delivery truck that's got a boom on the back that people can't get by while the thing's swinging out, you got to stop traffic, let them swing the boom, and when it comes back, you let it through. We're our own traffic detail. I swear to God.
When you're doing construction.
Yes, but what's the difference in a landscaper? Landscaper construction.
Because they're just backing out. Because they're just backing out. If you have a piece of heavy equipment that needs to move into the road to do its job, first of all, I'm not messing with a 3-ton piece of equipment. Hardy knows how to drive those things.
He's tiptoeing on the line, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's a tiptoeing mother effer. And if you've got a landscaping truck with a trailer on it, it's not. You can't just easily back it out into one
No, it's not
lane.
easy. It's not easy. It takes skill, which you need to hone.
You got to swing the boom. You don't even know what he's saying. You're speaking my language, though. I like this guy.
But you're making a giant leap to think that a landscaper or a contractor doing something that needs to be done.
I didn't say contractor.
Some lady. All right, fine, landscaper. You think that some landscaper backing out their truck and stopping 2 cars is going to lead to old ladies stopping to let their husband out of their driveway? It's just preposterous.
Why did you come in and do the show for me today? Because you're better at it, and I like the cut of your jib. Thank you. Thank you. This guy's got a lot to say.
Sean, you notice I didn't shut you down?
You won.
What's that? I didn't shut you down. I listened to you, and I took in what you said.
Yeah, well.
And I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Have a great day, guys.
All right, there you go.
He makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You
Good guy.
You make these gigantic leaps.
All right. So here is moving on.
Bert Breer's here. Hi, Bert.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bert,
Bert,
how are you?
But Bert can sit in during this. We love having Bert in.
Yeah. Well, we planned on doing the Scheffler thing when Bert was here because he was here when it all went down the first
I
time.
was on the scene for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were one of the few people I've seen to piss Hardy off. That was good.
I've seen
really
a lot.
good.
I've seen everybody piss Hardy off. I don't know what
It was kind of
planet
being
you're on.
facetious, but all right, that's fine.
Oh, be a little more
We've had a
obvious.
lot of like good golf-related moments over the last few weeks, like the guy calling in a couple weeks ago from the video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then the Scheffler thing. Yeah. Lots of good golf-related
That's right.
moments.
The guys who.
I'm becoming a golf guy now on the show.
You get by proxy.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to one. He had the guys from Travelers up here.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. The people from Cromwell, Connecticut were here. That's right.
Andy Bissett, Chief Administrative Officer and Vice President of the Travelers, along with Nathan Grube. He's a tournament director for the Travelers Championship.
When can they hear
place
that?
in Cromwell, Connecticut.
When can they hear that?
Did you guys talk about traffic
You
patterns?
can hear two segments with the Traveler. You know what? No need, because I found out during these interviews, that not to spoil and everyone who gets up on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. to hear this, but at the Travelers Championship, TPC River Highlands, you know where you park? Right there at the course. There's no shuttles. There's no buses. You pull in, they have.
Tell me
just
more, Hardy. This
acres
sounds like a great
and
tournament to attend.
of parking right there on site. So you just pull up, park, and walk in the gates.
Huh.
Pretty good, huh?
What if you're in a wheelchair?
And then you get wheeled in the gates.
Oh, no, I could wheel myself. Thank you very much.
Can you? What if somebody needs to stop traffic? I hope they blow right past you and clip the front of your wheelchair and send you flying.
Wow.
Give you a taste of your own
Maybe
medicine.
that's what happened at the PGA.
That's just mean. That's all that is. That's just mean.
Hardy at 985thesportshub.com. What are your thoughts on, I don't know.
Hardy wishing Fred to get hit
Doesn't
by
like
a car?
handicap people. Jesus.
Your thoughts on Bill Walton? Everyone loved him. Hardy.
Except for one person.
Did no one prep Bert on the show today?
All right, here we go. Here is Scotty Scheffler's lawyer talking about what happened.
Steve, I have to ask you, though, the statements that Scotty made after the arrest don't seem to fully align with what you're saying right now. He admits that he got impatient and went too far.
No, here's what happens, is he is being interrogated after the most stressful situation of his life.
Well, I mean, come
on. All right. Okay.
In all honesty,
This guy sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, too.
well, they're in Louisville.
But I was on the side of the reporter of this. At first, I'm like, you know what? He did kind of admit to, like, not stopping. And it's like, that's a good question. The lawyer makes an excellent point here. Now, the most stressful situation of his life, easy.
Yeah.
Easy, Matlock. I don't know if it's the most stressful situation of his life. But, Fred.
Probably a good move to hire the colonel to defend.
Yeah,
him.
you know,
He was stopped. He's in a white linen suit.
He's
with
dressed
a
like
polo
Tom
tie.
Wolfe.
I do declare.
He's like,
Cigarette holder.
Excuse me, sir.
or he's super sweaty with suspenders on.
Almost said something bad.
You know, the magistrate will come over here. If a potato germ, I'll come over here and say, I got worry about the Scheffler.
The so-called constable accosted my client.
You know,
here's the point that he makes. I think is
Bo Radley was somewhere in the building.
Boo Radley.
Boo Radley. My bad.
Yeah.
I tried to get literary there and failed.
That's all right. You don't play Boo Radley in the movie?
Michael Jackson.
No. Anyone know this one? Good trivia. Dan,
He's still alive.
Yes.
Famous. You love him. Famous actor.
First film role.
Apocalypse Now.
That's right.
Lawrence
Fishburne.
No, Apocalypse Now. What the hell is his name?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
No. It's
No.
Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall plays Boo Radley.
See, I call him Robbie.
I call him Bobby. Bobby Duvall.
After the most stressful situation of his life.
He had poo in his pants. He made diarrhea in his drawers. He was stressed, I tell you. The car smelled like a combination of eggs and a dog pound.
Let him defend his client. He makes a good point.
If you lit a match, good luck. The smells. When I visited him in jail, I've started to dry heave. I'll tell you, he was nervous.
Will the pants be admitted as evidence?
Look at these pants, Exhibit A. No, this is not a Jackson Pollock painting. This is a man who is very nervous.
Trousers.
Mr. Scheffler had to go through 3 pairs of trousers. He developed an anal fissure from the amount of wiping that needed to occur.
Do these look like the britches of a man who had all his facilities?
He was still shaking. Can the defense bring a witness, please, to the stand, Mr. Nick Cimelli?
Expert testimony, Your Honor.
A man being covered in the feces.
Oh, Nicholas, if you care to voir dire the witness as to his expertise in this area, I'm sure you're going to be satisfied.
After the most stressful situation of his life, right? And the officer is actually asking him leading questions and trying to get him to agree with them. Okay? And that's why you don't talk to the police, because they are going to try to put words in your mouth.
But
Wait a minute. So this is the most stressful situation of Scotty Scheffler's life?
No. We're already past that point. Okay. But what that cop was saying, it's like, but you dragged him with you. And it's like, yeah. It's like, you did all this stuff. Now, I'm not going so far as to say never talk to the police and they're all trying to trap you into questioning. But that cop was, to your point, Fred, I think trying to protect his fellow officer in that moment.
I agree.
But this lawyer is also making an interesting point. Is like the questions were, in fact, he got him saying yes. So you're late, yes. And then he reached in, yes. And then you dragged him with you. Yeah, it's, there's a rhythm to the questioning and trying to get him to say yes enough times to where he kind of admits guilt where maybe he wasn't guilty.
Exactly what they did.
But that was after he read his Miranda rights. He didn't have to speak.
He didn't have to speak. But again, he asked to talk to the officer. He wanted to explain to him what happened. However, they are trying to get him to confess to something that he didn't do. And the video evidence shows he didn't do it.
Well, suffice it to say, the plea deal, or not the plea deal, the deal between the two parties is Scheffler won't sue Louisville, and Louisville will drop all charges. And I think that's probably the best for everyone. I'm sure Scheffler doesn't want to have this hanging over his head anymore, and maybe they could move on.
Sure, the Louisville Police Department doesn't want it hanging over their heads either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's probably just better for everyone if this goes away. But I don't think the police officer that talked to Scotty Scheffler was a bad guy or doing anything. I think he was just trying to protect his department. And I don't think and this is just an opinion, I don't think he believed in any way, shape, or form Scheffler was going to get arrested right there. And I just think the other guy came out like a bat out of hell just going. And he has a history of being overzealous. All right. We have BREER here so we can talk about, you know what? The National Football League. As camps are going on and everyone's having a lot of fun, we will have that for you. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
It'll be the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics in the 2024 NBA Finals. Dallas punched their ticket by finishing off Minnesota in 5 games last night, 124.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Burt BREER is here as senior NFL reporter and lead content strategist for the MMQB. Thank you for joining us, Mr. BREER. The camp was going on there for the Patriots, and we've heard about Drake Maye.
Yep.
That he was a little whatever at the beginning, and then he became then he started very much impressing. What are you hearing about Drake Maye?
So first of all, I think one thing that's important to illustrate for people is how I think the media has been at 2 practices and they've had 5, I think is the number right now. So it's just a fraction that you're getting these reports from. So, I talked to a couple of people down there over the, last, I'd say 24 hours or so about how it's going with Drake. And the feedback I've gotten is really good. His progress has been incremental, but he keeps getting better and he's not taking steps back, which is big. What they found when he came in is that he had almost no footwork training. He'd almost never had it, which I thought was interesting. So it's really kind of a ground up operation there. One of the interesting things that, one of the guys down there said to me is you can see the talent when he puts it, there are plays where he puts it all together, where he ties his feet to his throwing motion, to his, to whatever the play call is. And when it's all synced up, it's wow, but it's just not consistent yet. So you're working ground up on that.
So in passing drills, they're working on everything, mechanics, footwork, addressing things that haven't been addressed before.
It's football jargon, but it's it's tying your feet to your arm.
Yep.
It's tying your feet. It's so your feet match up with, the direction you're throwing the ball and the rhythm of the play call, and it's playing on time. And, another thing is he hasn't taken snaps under center much in high school or in college. And so they're teaching him to take a snap from under center and to take drops.
I heard Zoe talking about a little bit about this yesterday, just in terms of you're not going to get too excited one way or the other when, these aren't even practices yet. These are essentially passing drills. But if there is progress and there are reasons to be optimistic, then I'm not going to ignore it either. Yeah. And if he is showing improvement from at least what they thought he was capable of or what he was going to be, even at this early stage, I wonder if I wonder if they start thinking as early as now, Bert, I wonder what this is going to look like throughout the season.
So and I think that's you do see and the physical stuff I think is enticing. They see, the 3 things I think that are really encouraging that I heard about what they're seeing on the field is, elite 3rd level accuracy, right? So elite deep accuracy. So he's able to get the ball down the field in a way that a lot of quarterbacks can't. So that's number 1. Number 2, they see him going through progression. So 1 to 2 to 3, you can see him doing that already. Now, it's very different doing it now than it is in a game, you know, but the fact that he's able to do it in a practice setting this early on is a good sign. And then the 3rd thing, which I think is really maybe the most important thing when it comes to potentially putting him on the field in the fall, is he's not panicking. They don't see him out of sorts when the picture gets jumbled on him, because that's going to happen with the rookie quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. So even when they're throwing something at him where he doesn't completely get, it just doesn't look clear to him yet, he's not going into some weird panic, And that's the sort of thing that gives you some confidence. Okay, if we put him out there and he has a bad play or two, it's not going to all come undone. And I think that that's really the risk in putting a guy out there is if he has 0 footwork training and you are working from the ground up with him when it comes to that, what you'd be worried about is that you throw him out there and, there's the amount of reps that you need for something to really become natural. Does it all, if you throw him out there in a situation where all of a sudden he's got to improvise or, a lot of that bad habits can come back.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that the teaching that you're doing is creating a foundation that's going to be sustainable before you put him out there.
All right. Bert is in studio. Drake Maye is on the table. The NFL, he has to stay for another break.
Yep.
Because he was
Penalty.
so late.
But he brought munchkins.
I did bring munchkins. Hardy's been enjoying them.
I have.
Oh, but I don't know.
They disagree with you, Fred? I just saw you hold your stomach.
I don't know because I want to look good this summer. I want my beach bod.
Oh.
You know, guys?
Good call.
You know I've been working really hard.
Yes.
You know, I've been out there. I've been doing a lot of calisthenics, blocking traffic, everything. You know what I've taken to do is going to shows and dancing like an idiot.
Oh, really? Did you go to Boston Calling?
Like in a circle. Like
I learned that in Footloose. You know, back in the biblical days, they would dance to stay physically fit.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that part of Kevin Bacon's speech.
Leaping and dancing.
Leaping and dancing
Leaping
before
and
the Lord.
dancing.
No, you get me an old white guy on a guitar and just have him plucking away at it, and I'll dance around like a moron. And that's how I burn calories.
Did you go to the Rolling Stones last night?
No, they got riffs. What are you talking about?
That was last night, wasn't it?
Are they still good
at
in concert?
They play without backing tracks. That I'll give it to them.
18, 19 songs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard no backing tracks, and they'll make mistakes and stuff and live with it. It's rare in this day and age.
There was somebody that was really embarrassing from like the 80s or something that I saw a video of relatively recently where it was just like, oh my God, what a mess. But I don't think it was the Stones. Somebody else.
It wasn't George Burns.
Oh, God, you devil.
I mean, that was kind of the
sequel.
point. All right, Bert's here, 617-779-0985. There's a lusty scene in that I used to pleasure myself to.
Hey!
In the movie Oh, God?
Yeah.
Or Oh, God, you devil?
Oh, God, you devil.
Really?
Yeah, there's a busty redhead that seduces young George Burns.
No kidding.
Yes. She feels his thigh.
All right.
And
you Googling it now, Hardy?
Yeah, that's it. I was 15.
Company might flag that.
No, not Oh God, you devil. They can't flag it.
No. But I mean, if he's Googling
all right,
it.
listen. All right, we got a break. We'll be right back. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Bert Breer was very late today, but he brought Dunkin' Donuts. Or Dunkin', I should say.
Well, I stopped because I would have made it at like 7:05, but I stopped because I thought, like, I'm going to be a few minutes late. I alerted Dan that I'd be late, and then I brought in spent the extra time that I had to get you guys some food.
That was very sweet.
Appreciate it.
Very
Thank you, Bert.
magnanimous.
Thanks,
of me.
Bert.
Yep.
That was. He works for the MMQB. Now, you said you were going to Peter King's his retirement party?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. I'll be in a black tie.
Is it at a
So that
swanky?
could get awkward if it is.
Is it like at a swanky place? Is it a big deal?
No, it's like at a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's very connected.
It's not like an award show or anything like that.
No, I understand what's
But
happening.
it sounds like that's kind of like I'm not going to the Grammys here.
No, but Peter King is a
Yeah,
legendary
he is.
NFL reporter.
Yeah.
He's friends with a lot of guys in the NFL. He has access. He's friends with a lot of people that
I'm sure
a lot
there
of
will be some,
broadcasters.
yes. Yeah, I'm sure there will be some.
Will Mike Francesa be there?
That'd be great. God, that'd be a dream
Yeah.
come true. I have done some. I did a regular, like near the end for him. I did a regular Sunday morning thing with him, which was awesome.
I one time ran a 5K listening to the Sunday morning Francesa show. Nothing gets you riled up more. When they play for pay.
What Francesa was great at was like making himself seem like it was almost like he wanted to come off like a mob boss, like he knows everybody, you know.
Yeah,
like
that's-
so you
that
tell
was
him
25 years.
You
He's
tell
portrayed himself
I know
this
you,
way.
you tell him something. You tell him something, but if you're like one of his guests, you tell him something,
And he determines if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, well, no, like you never tell him something that he didn't already know.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, well, you come on and you have like a pretty good nugget of information or whatever.
I'm not sure that's true, Bert.
It was pretty hard to. It was pretty hard to get him to be like, oh wow, like that was a good nugget of information.
Well, Parcells wanted me. We own horses together, and Parcells wanted me to be in the front office of the Jets.
That was great. There's a good clip on that too, wasn't there?
Yeah, he said Parcells wanted him to be in the front office of the Jets, but he turned it down because it wasn't enough money. Is what he said. He said that his knowledge was so great. And then when he worked for CBS Sports on the television side, he was such a college basketball expert because that's how he started.
Mm-hmm. He was
such
sharp, right?
Yeah, he was a college basketball expert that everyone wanted him in their programs.
I think he was in like some big I remember seeing him I remember coming across like a couple old like college football clips where I was surprised to see he was in the booth.
College football? Because he was a big college basketball
I remember
guy.
seeing it must have been from it was like, I don't know, like a clip of like, maybe it was like Texas, Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl or something like that. And there was Mike Francesa.
Jeez.
Yeah, in the booth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what he used to do. He was like a analytic guy for like a dork, like that worked at CBS Sports for
On the
college
basketball broadcast.
Well, he was
and
like
they liked
the,
him so much. Well, he started behind the scenes, and then they liked him so much. He was still young. He looked old, but he was still young. He had a very large head.
Yes.
That they started putting him on the air.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's how the whole thing started. But so
it was kind of the same genre then as like Jimmy the Greek, right? Like kind of the same idea.
I don't think that he was a gambling guy. I think he
No.
was like an analytical guy. Like he told you the stats of what was coming
Okay.
up. He was racist, just like Jimmy the Greek, if that's what you're asking. If you ask that Munchkin
I'm a little
guy,
too young. I'm a little too young to remember.
It's all right. I've seen that
the
30
ins
for
and outs
30,
of
Mike
Jimmy the
and the
Greek. I
Mad
do.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't remember Jimmy the Greek? Why he got fired?
I don't know. I'm like a little too young for that. I think.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's something that existed, and
No, I know. I mean, I've heard of like the
Like,
whole
I
thing.
wasn't,
I've
like-
heard of the controversy, but I don't remember like seeing like.
Oh
what he was
yeah,
like on
I
the
don't
air.
remember
Yeah.
him saying it. Yeah. I just know aware of what it is.
Yeah.
But Peter King, is this like his official retirement party? This is like the big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would imagine that there would be like a lot of like
Probably, yeah.
Hall of Famers and stuff there.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. So it should be fun.
Is there anyone that at your point in your career that you would be excited to meet that you haven't met?
I mean, I did something with, so like I've always found that like I'm a way more like I don't get starstruck by the guys who play now. I would say I still like have a little bit of that, like the guys that I grew up watching.
Sure.
Like, so I did something at the LA Super Bowl. We had a set at the LA Super Bowl, and I did something with Joe Montana. And that was like a little bit of like, whoa, like that's Joe Montana for me, you know? And a funnier one was like at the combine in 11. I was at the steakhouse where people go and it's one of the places that stays open late and all that. And I'm like half in the bag, and I go to the bathroom, and at the urinal next to me is John Elway. And it was like
he's got a horse face. Is he also?
There it is. That's what.
But I'm like John Elway had just been hired by the Broncos as their, and it was like
director. Yeah,
and it was like weird. It's like I'm like that John Elway. You know what I mean? Like so. It's still like it's like I think when the guys who were stars when you were a kid.
Of
have
course,
a completely different standing.
Sure.
Like
So,
I would be,
sure.
I think I would be starstruck by Michael Jordan. Like that's one
Oh,
for
no,
me.
no, okay,
If I was presenting, like if I had to like have a conversation with Michael Jordan, that would be weird for me.
Okay,
you know?
I know someone that was I don't know anyone who's met him. I know someone, he came into a restaurant in Atlanta, and I know girls that were in there that don't follow basketball at all, and they said when he came in, it got weird. Like he was such a presence that he didn't do anything wrong. It just, he came in and everything stopped.
Yeah.
And there's in Atlanta at the time had a bunch of celebrities walking around all the time. And like you could see people like Charles Barkley and everybody else, like who cares? Like Michael
Jordan's like wheelhouse for me too, because like his last year with the Bulls was my senior year in high school.
Right.
He came into the NBA when I was 4 years old. Like so, like basically my entire childhood, he was this massive star.
Couple years ago, Radio Row, Barry Sanders was walking around, and somebody said like, "Hardy, there's Barry Sanders. You should go say hello." I said, "Can't do it."
Yeah.
I mean, I would love for him to come sit down if like Capello or Louth, you guys want to come ask him. We're not going to get him because we didn't schedule. But it's like, he didn't have like a huge detail. It would have been probably okay just to walk up and say hello. And I was like,
he was one of these guys that has like 10 people around them just to make themselves feel like a big deal.
I couldn't do it because that's Barry Sanders.
For me, that year,
You get that,
Jim,
don't you?
Barry Sanders was around though. Like I used to see him not out like where I was, but he lived in Farmington Hills. So
I was out of the area. I mean, I was in East Lansing, and then I was gone.
And he's around all the time now. Like he's at every line. He's worked for the Lions now. So it's
they've rebuilt
NFL
that.
draft.
They've done a lot to like rebuild the relationships with guys like that.
Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders are at like every game now.
Yeah.
And
we were actually like last year, if they had made the Super Bowl, I had started to work on a story on. Actually, it was the Lion. It was the basis of the story was the Lions rebuilding relationships with all these people that they had just ruined.
Yeah. It took a lot for Calvin Johnson. We had him in studio. I was cool meeting Calvin Johnson. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the Jim Gray year, meeting Jerry Rice. That was it for me.
Yeah, that was cool.
We had Jerry Rice right after with the Jim Gray thing. And meeting him, getting a picture with him, that was crazy.
And also what was cool about Jerry Rice is he was making fun of Jim Gray.
Yes, he was.
He was saying what a prick Jim Gray was. He's like, what's up with that guy? Why is he such
so
a dick?
casual. He showed up wearing Chuck Taylor All-Stars and a sweatshirt.
But he really did. You can vouch
awesome.
that he went, what the hell's wrong with that guy?
The first thing he said when he sat down was, what was that guy's problem?
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
So Joe Montana was weird for me because he looks like such a normal guy.
Yeah.
Like,
he's not a big
around,
guy.
I
He's
know.
like 6 feet tall.
If you're around Elway or Marino, Elway and Marino still look like quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Montana looks like such a normal guy. Like if he were walking down the street and you didn't know who he was, it'd be whatever.
Yeah, it's. I remember I was too young to even remember him playing, but Mean Joe Green was at a Super Bowl and I freaked out because my dad was such a big fan of him. Like I got all like freaked out by him.
Yeah, that was like so my dad, that's the other thing is like my dad's heroes were that way for me too. Like the ones I heard my dad talk about, like so for him it was like Gordie Howe was Gordie Howe was God for kids where he grew up, and you guys know that as well as anybody.
Yeah.
When he was a kid. And then Jim Brown was the other one where like he wouldn't I think all of our fathers probably talked about Jim Brown this way. It's like
God,
my dad would say this about Jim Brown. He's like, if you take like on scale like how much better an athlete was than everyone else in their sport,
Yeah.
Like Jim Brown's the greatest.
Oh, my
of all
dad
time.
used to regale
Like,
me. Jim Brown
was
played
so much-
lacrosse at Syracuse, the whole thing.
But Jim Brown, like my dad's point was always like Jim Brown was so much better than everybody else.
Right.
At that point.
I got
like,
that speech too.
You know what I mean? Like he was.
Yep.
It's not just how great he was. It was like the gap between him and everyone else.
Yeah, my dad's was Stan Musial. Stan Musial. That's the guy you.
Mickey Mantle was my dad's in baseball. Al Kaline for like local, but then Mickey Mantle was the guy for him.
My
in baseball.
dad said I saw him at Sportsman's Park, and he hit a ball through the right field screen, protecting the right field. Blah blah blah.
It's just a generational thing. I'm laughing. Bert's looking at me. But my dad grew up a Yankee fan, but it wasn't Mantle for him. It was DiMaggio, the generation before. That's how old my father is.
Yeah, his father was very into the Negro
My
Leagues.
father remembers when Taft was president.
Because it was a little less expensive.
Yeah.
And not even Satchel Paige, because that was like one of his contemporaries. He was into like.
So like
he was, you know, who he was a big fan of? Ty Cobb. Not so
Ty
much
Cobb.
the
Right.
baseball, but
just the philosophy.
I guess that's not even true. I guess
What?
the whole thing that Ty Cobb was like this horrible racist is now being historians are
Challenged?
finding it is being challenged.
I heard that too, or I read that somewhere where it was.
So is he just an a-hole and not a racist?
He was a prick, but
Yeah.
like he was like salty, but he
Right.
wasn't necessarily.
Well, because
I'm
there's
sure,
the spikes up thing and all of that, right?
Sure, yeah, like he was like a jerk, but like I'm sure he wasn't, you know, like in 2024 wouldn't be considered like a racially tolerant guy. But
Yeah.
as the times go, he was not he's being unfairly labeled as being for the time.
See, I'd be like, so the other one for my dad was always, I think it was the 1968 World Series, Bob Gibson and Denny McClain.
Yeah.
And I think McClain won like 32 games or something that
He
year.
did, and then he went to jail for 32 years.
1968. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
68.
colorful characters in Detroit when my dad was a kid. Him, Bobby Lane was. Bobby Lane had his issues.
My best friend did a documentary about a sports bar in Detroit of that era. You should go check it out.
Probably a fun place.
Yeah. Well, Jesus.
Yeah.
The Yankees,
Bobby Lane would like show up to games drunk. Like
when the Yankees were in town, Billy Martin, Whitey Ford, and Mickey Mantle would go to this bar and hang out. And Mickey Mantle got in a fight with a WWE, whatever at the time, wrestler at the bar. It's called Meet Me at the. I don't know. I'll find it. Yeah, my friend Jay, he did a documentary. It's not bad, and they all hung out with the weather guy in town. Like the weatherman, Sonny Elliott, was like best friends with like every superstar that would come into this place because Detroit was a big city at the time. Like it was the fourth largest city in the country. All right, very good, Bert. There wasn't a lot to talk about the NFL, but we like when you hang out and have fun at Peter King's affair.
Yep.
I'll be interested. I'm not making.
you want like a recap next week?
Yes, I do because
Okay.
you keep thinking like for like the other shoe to drop, but I'm not. I'm not making fun of you. I'm interested in who's going to be there because it seems like
I'll give you a recap next week.
Please do, because it seems like there would be a lot of interesting people. And next week, I'll be broadcasting from Hofstra University.
Oh, I got to go there for a lacrosse tournament in 3 weeks. Uniondale is where I'm going.
I get to fly into LaGuardia on a Thursday.
Yeah, or no, 2 weeks.
Go to Long Island, spend the night in a hotel, and then go out with people I don't know. And then the next day, do the show, and then do a fireside chat at a conference that I don't know one person that's going to be at.
The conference is on Friday?
The conference is on Friday.
What time do you have to do that?
10:45.
Oh, so you did get up, do the show from your hotel room?
No. I'm doing it from Hofstra's radio station.
You have to show up at
That's
5:45
why I'm
in
going.
the morning at a college radio station.
But it's. I told you it was the Islanders flagship station. Like it's a legitimate.
Yeah, I think I've
radio
heard of
station.
like that. Like Hofstra has like a really good.
Like it's considered one of the best. It's like a legitimate radio station. It's run by people that are paid to
No,
run it.
I'm thinking more
Like
about
Emerson has one of those.
I'm thinking more about how you're going to be on that panel and that fireside chat.
It's not a panel. It's just me. And the only other guy.
One-man panel?
The only other guy. They offered me a chance to talk, and I'm like, no. And then the only other guy that I've heard of that's there is the right-wing fella, Glenn Beck.
Oh, sweet. All right.
And then the other panels are like Stan Alp from AM 70 Albany.
He's good.
It's all like these guys from AM talk stations. It's my agent. It's all my agent. I don't know why she wants me to do it.
Sounds like fun. We'll put you in Fred's chair next week. It'll be nice and comfortable.
Don't. Kendra says it's dirty.
Oh, okay.
All right. But there you go. Bert, thank you so much.
Thanks, Bert.
We appreciate
Thanks, guys.
it.
See you, Bert.
When we come back, we can discuss the Celtics. You know who they're playing? Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Which is going to be very interesting if Kyrie Irving happens
Exciting.
to be on the team that beats the Boston Celtics. It's going to be no fun to be a Celtics fan. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
text back.
Irving fires away. Got it! A two-pointer for Kyrie Irving.
And I think he might have saluted them with a hand signal right there.
Ooh, didn't see that.
Yeah, just a hello.
And I think it's fun while it lasted. That's the relationship that makes it fun. I'm just grateful for my time here in Boston.
Kyrie has proven to all of us that he's not a leader. And I don't understand this for the life of me. Maybe he surprised the world and become this better person overnight.
They crucified Martin Luther King for speaking about peace and social integration. You could go back to historical leaders and great people in society that do great things, and they're still going to talk shit on them. It is what it is. I know what I stand for. I'm a great family man. I have great values, core values. This basketball stuff is a game at the end of the day. What more could you ask for?
You look happy.
Yeah, I'm great. This is a place for me, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Who is he getting traded to? And now it's like, where is he going? So it's like,
just in case you were persuaded by Kyrie, here are some recent photos of the Earth.
There's no hostility, bro. It's basketball. When I was out for those 7 weeks and not saying anything, and still people are still saying things about me, it's inevitable.
Go to Mikey and Walton. Mikey.
Hey, I was just calling in saying that with such a rare talent like Kyrie, it's such a shame the fans didn't welcome him in more. Talents like those are so rare they don't come by fast. I think it serves us right that now he's gone and look at what we're left with.
Kyrie Irving is box office. This brother deserves $50 million a year. I would never give him a long-term contract again.
The finals will start in a place where you used to play, in Boston. You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Boston's in a way in between our goals.
We want Kyrie!
First half was a joke. I mean, the first half was an absolute
69 to 40 at halftime.
What was that first number?
69, Fred.
Cover double do.
Help me circumnavigate. I said that 1,000 times yesterday. Help me circumnavigate. Now, John, you call Celtics games,
yes,
even though Grandy has turned down the television job.
Yes.
And decided to keep doing the radio games.
Yep. Oh.
You have called Dallas Maverick games, I would imagine.
I have. I've been to Dallas and called games there, yes.
That is part of the luxury of having John on this show, is that he has been in the building. He has professionally called these games.
Mm-hmm.
Who, take the last series out, because apparently Minnesota was tired, and as we've talked about before, they're a young team. This was like the next step in their development.
Yes.
Actually, if they would have lost to Denver, you got to figure beating Denver. People are ripping on them for being tired, but I got to imagine beating Denver in that Game 7 kind of was like.
That was their NBA Finals.
Right.
That was we just beat the defending champions, and they weren't fully ready, obviously. Dallas is just another team. Now we're going through.
Because that was in Denver, right? That was Game 7 in Denver. Game 7 was in Denver, or was Minnesota the 2 seed?
I think Minnesota was the 3.
Okay, and Denver was the 2, and Oklahoma City was the 1.
Yes.
All right, so whatever, but just say they won on the road in Denver.
Yes.
And I mean, that's like a huge step for that organization.
And that's the thing. I think looking back on it now, it's very easy to see that they used all their energy to beat Denver and had nothing left.
So let's just do this exercise. Like, say that it was just starting now. Who do you think matches up better against the Celtics?
Minnesota matches up better against the Celtics. I mean, you saw it during the regular season. Minnesota matches up better against the Celtics.
And now do you think of, because I agree, Minnesota played the Celtics tough, and Minnesota has a unique size and
they're
all of that.
Superb defensively. They got great wings. I think the double bigs would have given the Celtics a lot of trouble. Towns and Gobert would have given the Celtics a lot of trouble. But Dallas has these two elite, great players. And I don't know. Look, I saw a couple of the games, and it mystified me why, as great defensively as Minnesota was, they couldn't even slow them down at all. So, I mean, look, first glance, the Celtics should beat this team. The Celtics should beat this team in 5 or 6 games. But, you watch Doncic have quarters like the first quarter last night. Kyrie is an elite shot maker and can beat anyone off the dribble. And then you start to think, okay, now I'm not so sure. The Celtics should win. It's set up for them to do so. Denver's not there. Minnesota, who I thought matched up real with the Celtics, not there. This should be a series the Celtics should win. But after watching Dallas play Minnesota and tear them apart, Minnesota was the best defensive team in the NBA during the regular season. Dallas tore them apart in 5 games.
And it's been such a change for Dallas, too, this year. They were, in January, 50-1 dogs to win the championship.
And rightfully so.
50-1. They opened at 25-1.
You saw what happened to Dallas down the stretch at the end of last season. They acquired Kyrie and went right in the tank and missed a play-in round. I mean, they were awful.
Isn't
and
it
if you
funny?
remember when they spent all that money to bring Kyrie back, how we all laughed?
We played clips about it, but like it's funny because people take what professional analysts say so seriously and as gospel. Stephen A. Smith is great. I love Stephen A. Smith, but he's gone back in fairness and apologized to Kyrie. Like both teams, Minnesota and Dallas, how much were they ridiculed for those moves they made? When
Dallas,
Minnesota, when they traded for
gave up
Gobert,
75 draft picks for Rudy Gobert,
and everyone crapped on them, and then they beat Denver, and all of a sudden it was like, oh. I know Rudy Gobert looked like an idiot against Luka Doncic, and Perkins wants to take his Defensive Player of the Year vote back. And then when Dallas, like you said, when they acquired Kyrie, people said, why that team?
Yeah, because the Minnesota deal for Gobert was more about that's way too much and he's not worth it.
No. But also, it was also about why they needed another big man. They said they already had Karl Anthony Towns. Why the hell would they need, of all the teams, why would they need Gobert?
Yeah, it was a combination of the transaction and the team building. For Dallas, it was, what are you doing? Haven't you seen, this guy's a team killer. He's going to come in and he's going to be disgruntled and he's not going to play well with others, and it's only going to be a matter of time before you're worried about and wondering how you're going to get rid of him.
But Hardy, beyond that, it was also, this is why the analysts are funny, is because they also said Doncic, we said it too, but we're not professional analysts. Doncic is a ball-dominant player, ball-dominant player as anyone in the NBA. Why the hell did you just sign an elite point guard when you have a guy who's going to have the ball, 70% of the game in his hand, 70% of the offensive possession in his hand? So, why would you get Kyrie Irving? I thought that, but that's the luxury of being an idiot, and known for being an idiot is it doesn't matter. But so the next time that you hear a professional analyst, break it all down, the two teams that played in the Western Conference Championship were labeled as disasters with horrible front office people because of the moves they made. And now one of them's in the finals.
It is kind of funny, though. We always overtalk and overthink things, but when it comes to basketball especially, why would you want two really good players who both like to control the ball? It'll be fine. It's just, they'll figure it out.
Sometimes you're right about that. Like, for instance, when James Harden goes different places. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Sometimes
there has
doesn't.
to be some deference there, and Luka has decided to defer to Kyrie Irving and vice versa.
Kyrie's deferring to Luka.
Well, there were periods of time last night after the first quarter where Luka would stand by himself on a side and Kyrie would take over.
But Kyrie Irving is talked about and has I know Kyrie had 36 points last night. Kyrie scores for this team, but Kyrie has made it obvious this is Luka Doncic's team. He's the alpha.
So now we're set up with either the best case scenario or the worst case scenario for Celtic fans. Speaking for myself, I desperately want the Celtics to beat Kyrie for a championship. And the flip side of that would be a catastrophe. If Kyrie beat the Celtics for a championship, that would be just a terrible feeling.
It's going to be
as a Celtics fan.
One of the worst. A favorite.
There's no middle ground here.
A favorite going in to a series where you in a season where you've dominated the whole year, losing to the biggest villain in Boston sports. Kyrie right now is the biggest active villain in Boston sports. He is.
I'm not arguing.
No. I'm arguing
You're looking
with myself.
at me. He is.
You're in my line of sight, you freak. Calm down, narcissist. But seriously, can you think of hockey? No, Like, because hockey is just every playoff. The football, no, because they suck. Baseball, yeah, all the big guys. Chris Sale, oh boy. So yeah, I mean, Kyrie Irving is the biggest active enemy in Boston sports right now.
Yep.
They're playing in the finals in a year where the Celtics are considered, ask Randy, of like the greatest team ever assembled, and they lose to the Mavericks. Well, I don't care if Kyrie sucks in the series. I mean, it's bad. And then Kyrie's mouth. If you're Kyrie Irving after that series, say, Kyrie Irving says all that stuff, and Mike did a great job putting it together, like comparing himself to Martin Luther King and all these other things. Even if I was Kyrie, and if anyone was Kyrie, if you won that series, the crap coming out of my mouth afterwards, I would just let it fly.
And that's the thing that would be maybe the most gnawing in all of it. Whatever you feel personally about Kyrie and his flat earth nonsense and all that stuff, at the bottom of it, there's still a part of Kyrie who believes basketball is not the most important thing. Like, if his team ends up beating the Celtics in the NBA Finals, just remember Kyrie is on record as saying, oh, no, this is just a job, and there are more important things in the world. That's why he takes so much time off and do other things.
That smile.
And it's like, this is just,
smile.
The basketball? No, this is just something I do.
Saw him on the TNT post-game show. I think it was after Dallas won Game 2, and, Charles Barkley's talking to him like, none of that stuff in the last 6 years happened. Oh, Kyrie, it's great to see you doing well. I'm happy you're in a good place. As if he didn't completely blow up Brooklyn and wasn't terrible in a complete mess when he was here.
Right.
All of that's wiped away. He's a great guy now. Yep. But if Dallas wins and I have to look at Kyrie Irving sitting there talking with Doris Burke and J.J. Redick about how he won a championship and he's all smiles here.
Right.
And God, if it happens in Boston,
Boston, where so many years ago the Pilgrims sat down with the natives and slaughtered turkeys for the first Thanksgiving meal. Now, if I could be honest with you, JJ, I would have preferred mutton.
Why?
Because it's a gamier meat, and it's interesting, John, that you ask that. When I eat meat, I want to know I'm eating flesh of an animal that was slaughtered. And, it's good. Doncic he's at 5 for 8 from the field today. When you slaughter an animal, John, it's important to take the entrails out, but you want to use them.
Doris, we have Kyrie ready. He's just accepted the MVP, and he's ready for your first question. Go.
Kyrie.
Yeah, how you doing, Doris?
It's lovely to see you. I understand that you believe the Earth is flat.
Well, I'm just happy to win here today, and there'll be time to talk about that later.
You know what else is flat is if you could look at this, I have a 12-inch hunting knife. Now, this can pierce the windpipe of even the largest deer. And then what you let him do is you bleed him out.
I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. It's part of my
Oh,
lifestyle.
Kyrie, it's the essence. It's the thrill of the kill. Kyrie, I mean, we thank the spirit animal afterwards.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Some people use a bow. Sometimes I just punch.
Really? You go into the forest and punch animals?
Oh, wild boars. You catch them, you tackle them, and you punch them to death.
Is that right?
That's good meat.
I thought you were more of a venison fan.
Venison jerky.
Oh.
I hang it from the tree to dry.
Freeze dry that yourself.
But you know what? Sometimes they can bring a bear, and they're fun to kill.
You wrestle those, do you?
Oh, don't.
Oh, they're too large, John. No, thank you. No, I shoot them.
Oh. I thought you punched them.
No, wild boar. Wild boar is the animal I punch. Sometimes I'll go in the sea and just grab.
You grab all kinds of fish?
Yes. Yes.
Porpoises and sharks and whales and...
Oh, well, not a whale, John. They're far too heavy for a human. No. Not whales.
That's it from the TD Garden, where the Dallas Mavericks have beaten the Boston Celtics on the home court, Game 5. No one saw this one coming. Doris, any last thoughts?
It's been a blast. Okay. All right, very good. We'll return in just a moment. A listener has made us a Celtics song. Another listener has made a song. What a fun thing. We'll have that for you in just a minute.
Sports Hub headlines.
Dallas Mavericks ran over Minnesota in Minneapolis last night, 124-103 to win the NBA's Western Conference Finals in 5 games. Luka Doncic voted series MVP after scoring 36 points. And that brings Dallas to TD Garden Thursday night to play the Celtics in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Red Sox lost to Detroit last night, 5-0 at Fenway Park. Sox have lost 5 out of 7. They're below 500. They continue this 4-game series with the Tigers tonight at Fenway. And American Coco Gauff among the third-round winners today at the French Open Tennis Tournament. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by WellPoint, formerly Unicare. They've teamed with Charlie Coyle for First Responder Fridays. So do something kind today to thank our amazing first responders for keeping our community safe. Thank you. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
Hold everything 98.5 The Sports Hub has to offer in the palm of your hand.
90985. What's up, Tyler?
I was a little worried. I thought for a second on the call log, Nick would just be like, guy didn't want to be on the air. He hung up. He called back and said, hey, it's Tyler. And he just goes, guy wants to be on hold. Shoulder shrug. When Doncic was on the Mavericks and they traded for Kyrie, I remember Doncic, well, he was a young kid. He loved playing basketball. He goes, I used to love playing basketball. It was so fun. And then they got Kyrie. He goes, now I just sad. And it was so depressing. I saw this interview, and I was like, wow. The Kyrie, I thought he was going to crumble Doncic, like ruin his thing. So apparently they worked it out, which is fantastic. But and then Kendra Middleton 4 or 5 weeks ago, on one of her things, she was talking about like ruin Celtics winning, like gambling bets, and like cities that would like double down on their thing. And so now Dallas seems like a good bet that she made because she said that she made that bet a while ago.
Oh, well, there you go. Dallas, the Dallas Stars. You better hope that for the NHL's sake, the Dallas Stars don't make the finals. The Dallas Florida final is a disaster.
You would have got much better odds on either Dallas winning the Stanley Cup or the NBA championship this year. Like, the odds would have been astronomical. You could, stand to make so much money, more so than last year when I made that same bet, either the Celtics or the Bruins to win the championship. I'm like, well, certainly one of them's going to win. Take all my bonus bucks that I got from signing up for this account and put it all right there. Yeah. Plus, I think I got that at plus 250.
It's never happened, by the way. The NBA and the NHL from one city. Never happened.
But that was just for one team to win. Just for one to win.
But if you're going to go Mavericks and Stars, you got to throw the Rangers in. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, maybe you make an additional bet, but you got to throw the Rangers in. I mean, you got to make it the trifecta. What does that pay out? At least 2-1, right? I'm a big gambler. They call me a sharp. All right. The audience has made songs. They love making songs. Our intern,
well, our intern started this whole thing when he put together this song for Jason Tatum.
How do you know it's about Jason Tatum?
He was more like single zero for a logo 3. He doesn't mind, but what he said was, I am the one. Celtics will dance on the floor in the finals. Scal said he is the one. Celtics will dance on the floor in the finals.
So
he's right.
He
predicted the future.
He called that one. So congratulations. And then he also favored us with a spot for our own Dan O'Brien, who has a summer business.
Daddy, hurry up. Did you bring the cooler and the umbrella? Mommy, what's wrong with Daddy?
Your father is weak, a weak man with soft erections. It's a wonder he was able to provide the seed for either one of you.
Can someone help me?
Wow, who is that?
Dan the Wagon Man, up here in York Beach, Maine. Dan the Wagon Man. The Wagon Man.
Ooh, that's quite a wagon you're dragging.
Our wagons are easy to use and have extended storage space to hold everything you need.
And so much more.
Great, we want to buy one right now. Oh, no. You rent a wagon from Dan the Wagon Man.
For the day, for the week, for the month, for the whole damn summer.
The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely.
No, about your big 10-inch.
10-inch wheels. Check us out today at danthewagonman.com. Dan the Wagon Man keeps you out of the sand.
Thanks, Dan the Wagon Man.
Do not use Dan the Wagon Man wagons if you're allergic to PVC, plumber's tape, or commercial plumbing glue. Do not contact Dan the Wagon Man between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Do not refer to Dan the Wagon Man as Top 40 Shorty. Do not, under any circumstances, ask Dan the Wagon Man about acoustic sunrise or trips to Hawaii.
So, that's something that Dan the Wagon Man is probably going to be using not only in York Beach, but here locally.
Our own Dan O'Brien, if you don't know. Kids, get into radio. He's got 2 other businesses, one being Dan the Wagon Man.
Dan the Wagon Man.
danthewagonman.com. Oh, no.
The 10-inch wheels keep everything moving along nicely.
And he got that Maine accent. He nailed it. That's the thing.
Oh, no.
Nailed it.
He nailed that Maine accent.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Oh, Dan, when you answered the phone, the intern, the Tyler Milliken's cousin, when you answered the phone yesterday and the guy said all that stuff that's got a cop here today, what'd you say?
Oh, no.
Yeah, very good.
So now this has inspired other people to submit their songs.
Oh, good.
So the Jason Tatum song, of course, we don't need to hear it again. The Jason Tatum song was the inspiration for someone to come up and send me this song, which is about Jaylen Brown. Would you like to hear the just the audio that I was sent?
Sure.
Jaylen's knocking shots down from far away, throwing down and taking over.
Oh, so another guy who is doing a parody song, my favorite kind, fact.
So many games that I watch them play. You know I like my Celts a little bit older. Jaylen Brown could use your love tonight.
See, he's not getting enough love, so Jaylen Brown could...
He's pleading to the fans that are going to be at the finals to go, cheer louder.
I don't want to lose this game tonight.
Wow. Okay. I think I get it.
I don't think you get it until you hear it.
Jaylen's knocking shots down from far away, throwing down and taking over. So many games that I watch them play. You know I like my Celts a little bit older. Jaylen Brown could use your love tonight. I don't want to lose this game tonight. We ain't got many games left to sit through.
What?
Look who's around when they're in trouble.
Huh? We don't have any games left to sit through.
Oh.
Look who's around when they're in trouble.
Why does he want them older?
He likes his Celts a little bit older.
Like Bill Russell older? What are we talking about?
No, he just didn't want to take older out of the song.
Oh, okay.
The original version of
You
the song.
have to stay true. This is Scott, by the way. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Scott Zolak, by the way.
We ain't got many games left to sit through. Look who's around when they're in trouble.
Look who's around when they're in trouble.
Oh, I thought you said we cruise around when they're in trouble.
Well, maybe he did.
We ain't got many games left to sit through. Look who's around when they're in trouble.
All right, stop playing that one part. It's driving me crazy.
I promise I won't play it again.
Look who's around when they're in trouble. You know you do anything for two.
Huh? They'll do anything for two.
So will I. Anything you want. You want me to get in a cage?
Oh, no. I think tonight he'll get a triple-double. Jaylen Brown could use your love tonight.
Yeah. You know, that's the overdub.
That's
just him sitting in the studio, like, waiting. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. All right. We can't finish the song. We have Cedric Maxwell.
I don't want to lose this game tonight.
Joke's on you. We did finish it. That's all he said.
Oh, my bad. Well, Dan was yelling at me. Dan,
Oh, no.
Notice he doesn't yell during Dan the Wagon Man.
Dan the Wagon Man.
He doesn't yell during these. That's real. It's Dan O'Brien's website, danthewagonman.com. Go to it. Cedric Maxwell will join us in just a moment.
Touch your end.
We're Toucher and Hardy, everyone. Hi. Hi. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us on YouTube. Oh, please. I dress up just for it. I put on all my best baseball caps. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And now there's even highlights from the show. Or some call them lowlights. I don't know. But they have fun with us. They really like the show, though. Cedric Maxwell is the Celtics color analyst on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. And Max is brought to you by Amica Insurance. Boston Celtics playoff coverage is presented by Amica Insurance. That's the Celtics Chase Banner 18. Visit Amica.com today to learn more about Amica's award-winning customer service. Max joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, Max.
How you doing, sir?
How are you? How are you enjoying this unprecedented time off during an NBA season?
You know, I would love to say I'm enjoying it doing nothing, but I'm actually here in Springfield, and I am at the new Hall of Fame exhibit called The Vault, which has all the Celtic paraphernalia, all the things that I've seen, all the things that, you know, collector items. They have all these championship rings, which are probably about 10 championship rings. All of them are authentic. It is an amazing experience and exhibition.
Okay, I didn't know you were there. This is great. So they had Cedric Maxwell, because I'd imagine a lot of things you were a part of are featured there. So they had you come in to help launch this exhibit?
Yes, there is. And matter of fact, there's the OJ trophy that well, let me explain it to you.
Yes, please do. I don't know what that means.
Well, Cedric Maxwell had the Finals MVP trophy,
right?
And he sold it to a collector, and the trophy is now here in the Hall of Fame.
Ah, there you go. Okay, and so
I get my boys right now will come in like OJ, guns drawn, and give me my.
But Cedric, that was the perfect crime. I mean, do you think you could really pull it off to the degree of success that they did?
I know the degree of success. Yeah, that was really successful. Got him in jail. I think that I'm good. I think that, but it's a really good exhibition here. Experience. This morning, I'm meeting with the governor of the state. He's going to do the official opening of the vault. We'll be meeting with her at 11 o'clock today and cutting the ribbon and all that stuff so it can be now open to the public. It is really a special thing. And if you're a Celtic fan, it is unbelievable. But if you're just a basketball fan altogether, just the stuff in the hall is crazy. The thing that they have with Kobe will almost bring you to tears. They have the short story of him. I guess it was the short story you won the Academy Award for something. I love basketball, but it's amazing to see if you haven't seen it.
And with the governor there, maybe the governor can grant you a preemptive pardon for the grand larceny you're about to commit to get the trophy.
Oh, wow. Well, I just called Donald Trump for that. I'm sorry. I'm good.
Too soon. Too soon.
Wow.
How dare you tread on these?
Look, we're in. Look, this isn't. So I'm sorry to say, but this isn't a Trump state. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. All right.
Believe me, I don't. You say whatever you want, Cedric. You know I don't care. Say you have a free forum here. I'm not going to censor you. Now listen, Dallas. We now know it's Dallas. Do you think? I'll start with this. Kyrie has been great this year. Kyrie has been great in the playoffs. Do you think playing in Boston will affect them at all?
You know what? It has to. It's just human nature would affect you, the pressure. Kyrie isn't booed in these places, is he? No, people are going at him. People are going to be wound up for this. And I don't think the NBA could have dreamed of having a better finals with Kyrie Irving and Luka, international, attention on this game. And then with Tatum and Brown and the way they're playing. I think the biggest thing about all this, I'm not sure if I got a chance to tell you guys, but it was when the Celtics actually won. Did I tell you guys the story?
No,
I don't think so.
Ali Salters kind of jacked me up. Well, Lisa Salters is the MC of the award ceremony. And so we had to practice once the day before with Indiana receiving the trophy. So she tells me, they say, well, when you come down from the perk, leaving Grandy, and I'm going to tell you who won the trophy. I'm like, okay, cool. So the first trophy you see, they hand it to me, and I hand it over to Wick. I don't have a speaking part. Then Wick speaks, then somebody else speaks, and then somebody else speaks, Coach Mazzulla. And then she comes back to me. She's like, okay, now Cedric Maxwell is going to now announce the winner of the MVP of Eastern Conference. She hasn't told me yet. So I'm looking at her all crazy. She's looking at me.
Oh, no.
So that is when I said, how about them damn Celtics?
Okay.
All right.
We played that the next morning. I'm like, oh, that's a bold choice to make on that court. Okay.
Yeah. So then you see me lean in, and what I'm saying is, who is it? And I was about to pull a Steve Harvey. I'm like, damn, okay. And she had written it down in chicken scratch. I was like, who is it? And so I don't have my glasses. And finally she screams, she yells out at me, it's Jaylen Brown. I'm saying, okay, Jaylen Brown. But I could imagine what the egg would have been on my face if I said Jason Tatum and it was somebody else.
Oh, that would have been the best.
Oh, man.
That would have been the best.
That would have been your station. That would have been all over the news for that one. That would have been international headlines. Steve Harvey strikes again like he did with the ladies at the beauty pageant. Announcing the wrong name.
Well, that happened at the Oscars. I think they announced a wrong name at the Oscars as well.
Yeah.
And Best Picture, they gave they said wrong Best Picture. That'd be just great if you went Grant Williams. and then gave him a wink. Like,
the two
we
teams
love you, Grant.
that couldn't have gotten rid of Grant quick enough have reached the
people
finals.
are like, oh, how do you think Grant Williams feels? And I'm like a dork. I don't know. He's
I had Grant Williams on my podcast, and we talked to him about who is possibly going to win. And this is before everything happened. And I think he got down to the point where he said it was the Celtics and the maybe he said Celtics and Dallas, and I think he might have said Dallas was going to win it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what this series is going to hold.
So, what's your early call on how the Celtics can defend these two guys who are unbelievably good against Minnesota?
Well, John, I do it. I always do the opposite way. What's my early call on how they're going to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? And is Porzingis going to be back? And Derek White? I think the Celtics actually have more weapons than Dallas. I think it's going to be a good series to watch. But I think the national narrative seems like the Celtics are the team that's favorite, and I'm looking at it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I think they present a similar problem in having Tatum and Brown out there, two guys who can score at will if they get hot, a similar problem to what Kyrie and Doncic. I think it hinges on Porzingis and adding that third element, because if it gets into like a shootout type of a game, just having that one extra weapon, and that's not to discount Derek White or even Drew Holiday's offensive contributions, like we saw in the conference finals, but having that third almost guaranteed go-to guy for the Celtics, I think would be a huge, huge point in their favor.
And then I think on top of that, you look at the Celtics, they have real good defenders. Drew Holiday, amazing job, playing against Indiana. He controlled the initial point of attack. Now, is he big enough to guard Luka? I don't know. But, I like the Celtics' opportunities. I like their chances. I peered in and, pulled the curtain back again. When I gave these awards away, I reached over to Jason Tatum. I said, and he reached into me. We gave this manly hug, John Wallach, manly hug.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we dapped each other up, and he whispered in my ear. He said, "I'm gonna get you one, dog. I'm gonna get you one," referring to winning the trophy. And I'm looking at him like, "Nah, dog, you get you one. You'll be good. I already got two. You get one."
I'm wondering, with Kristaps Porzingis coming back possibly for Game 1, he's been off a long time, especially at this time of year. What is that like? I mean, how much of a run-up does he need? You can practice and scrimmage as much as you want, but coming back, it's got to be a little uncomfortable for him.
John, I love when you state the obvious all the time. How can I say it? You exactly that. It's like it's going to be tough in the fact that you're coming back, and I think he can be healthy, but it's going to be the speed of the game because you can't duplicate that in practice. So to come back and get into the speed and the rhythm of the game, that might take a while. Might take a while, might not. But I think that the Celtics will be so fortunate right now if he ramps up and he's ready to go from day one. But I think it's going to probably be a minute restriction, probably early on. To see how he's doing, and they'll go from there.
Yeah, hearing Missoula talk about it yesterday, I wasn't overflowing with confidence, talking about continues to come back, continues to feel better, no setbacks. I know he's not going to throw all his cards on the table, Max, but I would have rather heard something that sounded like, oh, he could have played today if we needed him to. He could have played in Game 1 of the conference finals, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean, I think that it's different now with these athletes and these assets as the players are now.
Yeah,
they're much more valuable in bringing them back. You think that Milwaukee would have loved to have had Giannis back, but Giannis never came back and played.
Yeah.
Similar injury. Now I don't know what it entailed, but Giannis never came back. But you've had now almost 41 days of treatment and healing and rubbing and ice and all the other things that go along with it. Hopefully he comes back and he's ready to play. I mean, it only gives the Celtics yet another option if Kristaps is, comes back and play because, love it, whatever it is, gentlemen, he was a huge asset when it came to what the Celtics did during the season. There were a lot of times that Kristaps was the guy that bailed the Celtics out.
Oh, no question about it. A unique talent and someone who could definitely help in this series. Well, Cedric, everyone loves Cedric Maxwell. He is a national treasure, as well as a local treasure, and someone who's not afraid to give one of my enemies my phone number. Cedric Maxwell. Cedric Maxwell is you can see him in Springfield, Massachusetts. Go check out the new Celtics exhibit that they have there.
Yeah, they call it the Vault.
The Vault.
And it's very similar in the way it's like I think Hermes has a place in Paris, and they kind of designed it the same way where it's a vault door, kind of the replica, and you come in and all this Celtic paraphernalia, Bill Russell's jerseys in there, the game jersey of Ray Allen, which still has champagne soaked in it. It's an amazing. The biggest thing that I think about the jerseys is I look at trying to see when the transformation was between the time that when Bill Russell, all he had was number 6 on the back and 6 on the front, to the time now that you put players' names on the back of the jersey. That is pretty outstanding when you actually startling when you actually look at it.
And by the way, if anyone questions what an international man Cedric Maxwell is, he's like it's the Hermes store in Paris. Like,
well, this is what they were telling me. So I tried to do my best Southern accent of Hermes.
All right, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Cedric Maxwell, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the time, and we'll catch up to you after Game 1. Thank you.
All right, buddy. I'll take it easy.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.
Everyone loves Cedric Maxwell. I'll tell you, this NBA schedule is something else. Not only do they not play till Thursday, but then they play Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday. What the hell's going on?
And you know what? After Wednesday, I think there's the one day off, and then they spread it out again. Like between 3 and 4, there's like the regular one day off, and then it's 2 days off, 2 days off.
You're Dallas. You know this. Do you think Dallas would fly in Tuesday for a Thursday game, or do you think they fly in Wednesday for a Thursday game?
It depends on when the NBA wants them there, but usually it's the day before.
Okay, so even if you even if there were no restrictions, you would still just come in the day before?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So you come in Wednesday, you play Thursday, and then you got to stick around in Boston for 2 days for no reason?
Correct.
I can understand. I guess they don't want to play Friday or Saturday night. I don't know. Then why didn't they play this Thursday? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The buildings are free. I mean, it's not like you're moving concerts this time all over the place. I think the buildings are free in both sites.
Oh, in Dallas, you have to allow for the Stars.
All right.
Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final is Saturday. I'm learning so much. I'm so quick to judge. And then it just turns out I'm wrong. You know what I'm doing? I'm opening my mind.
Yeah, but they'd play up here this weekend. They wouldn't play down there, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
I don't know. Now it's getting confusing. I just like complaining.
Okay.
Without so many facts.
Got it.
Just let me complain. It is ridiculous, though. I mean, they don't need 2 days off between games. 2 games in the same city.
No.
That's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
I would concur. I would say that it doesn't even help. There's no way that another day of shoot around, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm not injured anymore.
It used to be, if I remember right, a long time ago, they only played NBA Finals games on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, regardless of what the travel situation is. So games 1 and 2 would be Wednesday, Friday. Game 3 would be Sunday, and then you'd have to wait until the following Wednesday to play Game 4 in the same place.
Well, remember when the baseball was 2-3-2?
Yes. And it was every day. You played Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, somewhere else Thursday, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday,
And
Monday.
That was probably more of a function. They didn't want any Monday night or Saturday night games. Saturday night used to be like the killer. That was just where you sent stuff to die.
And then you'd be in Minnesota minding your own business, tarp run over your foot.
That's a Vince Coleman reference, ladies and gentlemen.
That was. I thought. That's when I knew.
You
life
knew
was
that,
unfair.
Hardy, right?
That's when I knew life was unfair. I said, this is unfair. This is not what should be happening. Vince Coleman's out for the series because the tarp ran over him.
85?
That's 87.
87.
Yes.
85 is when they lost to. Was the terrible call in the Game 6 of the Royals series.
Todd Worrell, is that right?
Todd Worrell was pitching. He it was a grounder to first base.
What was
Worrell caught it.
What was the actual injury that he sustained? Was it a sprain?
Yeah, it was it effed up his ankle.
Yeah.
And he was out for the series, and he was rather important for him. The guy De La Cruz is going to be the first guy since Vince Coleman to steal 100 bases.
Ellie De La Cruz, shortstop for Cincinnati. That's right.
A must-watch.
Yes.
A must-watch.
Agreed.
One of the most exciting players in baseball right now. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy. Roger and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the...
Oh, gentlemen, and it's everyone's favorite time of day. It is when we read our emails. And what do you got going on?
I got one here from Chris who says, picturing Fred yelling at moving trucks and landscapers as the son cusses out birds and cars parked on neighborhood streets. Has me giggling all morning. Best, Chris.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So this goes back to Fred earlier, who has a big problem with people trying to do their jobs, be they landscapers or delivery drivers, anyone who has someone else come out and try and stop traffic so a truck can back out onto the street or pull out of your own driveway, Fred.
Yeah.
I guess that would count to get to their next job.
Yeah.
You have a problem with one of the coworkers going out there and stopping traffic for
to
that
say
truck.
the least. Yeah.
Yeah.
To say, I mean, that's putting it mildly. I mean, for the rant I went on. What Hardy's referring to is in the Scotty Scheffler audio of when he was pulled over being a scofflaw. The nice police officer that pulled him over said, Scheffler said, now I am doing it on purpose.
Mr. Scherfenberger?
Scheffler says to the guy, I didn't know you were a police officer. The guy was a police officer, and he goes, well, if it's a police officer, security guard, what's it matter? And I said, well, it's got to matter because the police are way more important than a security guard. And then the guy goes on to say, not even security guard, if it's anyone directing traffic. And then I said, well, what about when someone just stands in the road so a truck can get out of a driveway?
And then you said you ignore those people and you drive around them anyway.
Yeah, if possible. Yes, absolutely. I did say that.
That's just a fundamentally bad person behavior.
I wonder if you're really on an island with that.
No, I'm not. I think you're on the island is saying that
I'm
those
being
guys...
sarcastic. There's someone here to protect us today.
Okay.
Due to me being a jerk. Here's one. Doug says, Dear Fred, I have a request from beautiful South Carolina. Ooh, I do love Hilton Head. Can you please say the following on air in Miss Berg's voice? Doris Berg's voice, who will be calling the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Al Horford is just providing a cauldron of hot ball bouncing action for this crowd. Oh, my goodness. You're right. Sincerely yours, Doug in South Carolina. Sam, you both, you and Hardy both sound like Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia arguing over bird law, and I'm absolutely here for it. They're talking about the traffic laws. P.S. Hardy's definitely a hippie. No, Hardy likes to paint himself as a fan of a man of the working class. Is what he likes to do.
No, I consider myself among them, Fred. Get my hands dirty. Why don't you join me?
One of the charming
Gotta
things about
get
Hardy...
out of bed, grab a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands. It's Indigo Girls. It's from Indians, Nomads, Saints.
Well, pick a lane. Are you an Indigo Girls fan or do you want to work in construction?
Two have nothing to do with each other.
No, yes, they're completely.
They all wear flannel.
I know the Indigo Girls very well. This is not a joke. This happened, so I'm not trying to be cute. The Indigo. I worked at a sports bar called Jackson Jill's, and the Indigo Girls softball team came in after every game.
They played on the team?
Believe it or not, yes. They played on the team. No.
Well, I mean, maybe they sponsored the team.
They probably sponsored it too, but they played on it.
I thought you were saying, believe it or not, the Indigo Girls would be into softball. To which I thought you were making some other kind of statement.
No, I was saying, yeah, of course they were on the
right.
softball team. Like, why wouldn't they be? Jesus, Hardy. Yes, they were on the softball team, but
were they nice? Did they tip well?
Yeah, they were nice. Everyone liked the Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
They were nice. They did not hold themselves up as being more important than anyone else. I'll tell you this, but I do find this charming about Hardy, is that Hardy is a sitcom dad. Like he is someone who like stands by the construction site with his hands in his pockets, like kicking rocks, like just waiting to see if he can talk to one of the fellas,
or if they need a hand with something.
Yeah, like he's the guy. Like when the landscapers are. First of all, I don't even have a landscaper. You've seen my backyard. It's loosely a yard, and but I do have someone coming out to tell me what to plant. But
I could help you out with that.
Okay, so but Hardy will go out and like people will be doing like work on his yard, and he'll be like, "Ooh, that's a cool mower," and then he'll stand outside with his hands in his pockets kicking rocks.
There was a guy out there yesterday with a ditch witch. I'm like, "Ooh,
what is that?
A ditch witch?"
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like an auger digging type of machine where you can dig trenches.
Okay.
I always thought this was like a sitcom trope, like that the dad that really wanted to like play with like the tools.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a Tim Allen act. But this is why Tim Allen's a billionaire now. It's because of Hardy. Like that was
there are tens of millions of dads just like him.
Like according to Jim,
yes,
it's like real. Like I always just thought it was like corny tropes.
You should.
Hardy is the guy.
I got to go work in my garage on my hot rod. Oh.
Exactly. Like look at that.
No, I can't do anything like really cool or practical with it. But Fred, should you ever accept an invitation to my home, and I have invited you. I will give you a tour of the tools that I have purchased and used either once or none. But I have them. I have them at the ready.
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff. I mean, during COVID, I've got probably $20,000 worth of baseball cards somewhere.
We saw them every day.
Oh yeah.
Your baseball card is my jigsaw.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's just like I'm stuck at home. I'm buying this crap. Not to lean into an old bit too much, but there are small portions of the city where if you give people power to stop traffic with yellow vests, they would stop everyone. And I know what he's referring to. I can imagine how much no one would ever get into Star Market. That's the slippery slope. Brookline. Can you imagine that? That's why you got to put your foot down. If anyone can stop traffic, so your heroes like the people like cutting lawns and everything, sure. But you're opening up a slippery slope to the people in Brookline just coming out. They already like try to do citizen's arrest for keeping your car on idling. Now you go out there. Can you imagine if they could actually stop traffic?
Okay, so as our caller Sean pointed out earlier, it's quite a leap you're making from a guy hopping out of the passenger side of a moving truck just to stop cars long enough so the truck can get back on the road to a 70-year-old woman in Brookline out there just trying to control traffic flow.
Okay, follow me. I'm getting somewhere. Do you support the Nazi Party?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Although I feel like I'm being trapped.
Okay, no, you're not. It's not about Nazis. So neither do I. Do Nazis have the right to assemble and protest?
Yes.
Why?
Because it is granted under the rights of the Constitution.
And if you don't let groups you don't like protest, that means that the groups you like cannot assemble.
I may hate what you say, but I will defend your right to say it.
So, in the same logic, if you allow your heroes, those who have landscaping trucks to
try
stop
and
traffic,
try and bring it home,
you are allowing every lunatic,
no.
Not that the landscapers are lunatics, but you're allowing any lunatic to stop traffic.
No, because they are not stopping traffic, the landscapers, the movers, all those guys, for the act of stopping traffic. They're doing it.
But they're a civilian stopping traffic. But why they're doing it is not the issue.
Yes,
well, then Nazis or someone who says, let's give money to cancer.
Stopping traffic is not free speech.
No, but it's the same thing.
No.
If you allow them to do it, that means you have to allow anyone to do it.
No.
Oh, you just don't like the argument. John, I think I hit that argument out of the park.
I think Hardy's 100% right, and you couldn't be more wrong.
You don't get the
I understand what you're saying. I still think you're wrong.
It doesn't.
Free speech is not the ability to stop traffic for maybe 120 seconds.
Oh no, you're putting limits on it. If we were in a debate class, you two would be failing, because now who said 120 seconds? That could be all day, Jonathan.
You're telling me there's a guy, a landscaper, who is trying to get the truck out of someone's yard. That's going to take all day.
No, but there could be someone who from Uber or Uber Eats that puts his car in the hazards on in his car in the middle of the road.
Just like there are limits to free speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
You can. It's actually not true. You can.
You can't, no, free speech does not
That's
extend
an
to the point
wives' tale.
Where it extend to the point where you're going to endanger others.
Yeah, but you can't yell fire in a crowded movie
Okay, but would you agree that there are limits to free speech?
Oh, there shouldn't be.
Do you agree that there are limits to free speech? Okay, there are limits to civilian traffic control. And the limits are, I'm doing this for seconds so the truck can get it out.
Where are they written down? Where is that law written down? And the limits of free speech have been heard by the Supreme Court. They are often.
They're not written down, which is why you brought up this metaphor in the first place. You're trying to draw a correlation between the two.
But laws have been, there is legal precedent for what is allowed under the First Amendment. I don't believe that there is legal. You're saying anyone can just hold up traffic for any reason.
So you saying that the woman in Brookline who wants to go out there and control traffic flow, the Star Market lady, should be arrested for what she's doing?
I think she should be ignored.
As the landscapers and movers should be ignored also. You should ignore those people. Is that what you're saying, Fred Toucher?
If you can safely get by them, I don't see why you have to accept that.
No, you don't have to, but you could stop your car to make their lives easier for 15 seconds. You could do that.
Yeah. Of course you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
That's what you could do.
Yeah.
You choose not to.
Because it would be setting a dangerous precedent.
Because you don't want to be inconvenienced for 15 seconds to help out multiple fellow human beings.
Unlike most people that love being inconvenienced. Yes, I have that.
No, I don't like it, but I understand that if you can do just one thing today, Fred, just one thing to make someone else's life a little bit better, Ralph Waldo Emerson, then my friend, you are a success. I fear that you're going to fail today, Fred, and in life.
All Emerson did was sit around for 2 years looking at the water. Mike, go ahead, and then now Adam 12 goes there all the time.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing today?
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. So I'm just calling in regards to your stopping traffic conversation. So I'm a site supervisor for a general contractor.
Oh, boy.
And we often have to stop traffic on multiple occasions, not for a lengthy period of time, but maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes max.
Oh, that's 10 minutes
and
a long time.
We direct traffic ourselves.
Oh, you direct traffic.
Everything is always fine.
You direct the traffic, though.
Correct, sir.
So cars are moving.
Absolutely. Yes, we will temporarily block off streets, but we redirect them in different directions.
You redirect the traffic. Okay, that's not the conversation we're having.
Okay.
Thank you.
You just keep being yourself, Fred.
Do you mean that honestly, or is that an insult?
No, not at all. I appreciate your takes, but I think sometimes they're a little bit,
Mike, I'm wrong.
Off the mark.
Distasteful?
I'm off the mark quite often, let's be honest, Mike.
Insensitive?
There's no question about that.
In poor taste?
Too soon? I deserve all of this. Josh, go ahead. No one's overreacted to any of this. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, so it is against the law for a civilian to stop traffic, but it's also against the law for you to run them over or go in the other lane to get around them.
Well, I certainly would not run anyone over. That's for sure.
So you can't go in an oncoming lane or something to go around them, so you're kind of both in the wrong.
Yeah.
Technically, they're supposed to get a cop or a detail or someone that's certified or whatever to do traffic control.
Okay, but
do it.
in a reasonable society, every time a landscaper who's got a trailer, he's got to pull into a driveway, he needs to call a detail to get his trailer out and go to the next job? Okay.
Of course not. It's just, you be nice to your fellow man and let him back out. That's all.
Did you hear that,
do
Fred?
that. I'm nice. I'm not an aggressive driver. I'm nice. I swear to God I am.
Except when you're swerving around a landscaper.
Oh, no, except when I'm out there all wasted, swerving in everything. Yeah, except for that.
Right.
No, Josh, I am actually a fairly considerate driver. I am. But it does annoy me when people get in the road and they're a police officer, because you know why? I respect the police too much. And if that's a crime, then I don't think it's a crime. I think it's a good way to live your life. Tony, go ahead.
Freddie, gut check. I mean, are you going to stop for Oded and the boys? The GCE night trains coming down the track?
Oh, yes, I would. If in some loose way you're giving me money, I am more than happy to stop for you. That means you are a loyal friend.
If not stopping could negatively affect me financially due to an endorsement opportunity, I will stop.
Or plus, I know they're good people.
For money, what a surprise!
Yeah.
Tony. Also, if they're sponsors of the hub, I know they're good people. I know that they're because we only take businesses that are good people and solid citizens. Jen, give me a perspective from reality, please.
I don't disagree with you, Fred. I think you're right. I think that the landscapers park their truck with their trailer in the middle of the road instead of pulling into the driveways, and they leave it there the entire time they're doing their landscaping work. So we're not talking 5 minutes pulling in and out of a driveway. They're there for an hour or 2 hours while they're doing all of their landscaping.
Okay, you're talking about two different things. Where are landscapers parking their trucks in the middle of the road? I'd like to see that.
Oh, my gosh. We live over near Franklin and Rentham, and they do it everywhere they landscape.
Oh, that's only at Scott Zolak's house because he thinks he needs 20 yards of mulch every single year. So that's a problem.
I would tell you more often than not, they're parked, and we live on their narrow streets. And so some of the roads I live off of are almost one lane as it is. And now you take up truck and trailer so no one can pass by.
All right.
It's rude, and they do need a permit, and you should have someone out there directing traffic if they're going to do
Jen,
that.
you're never going to convince Hardy. He's a knucklehead. And first of all, I hate to say it, it's because you're a woman. He won't listen to you. But, Jen, I think you're brilliant. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate the phone call.
You're so welcome. You're right, Fred.
Thank you.
There
Thank
it
you,
is.
Jen.
That we need a clip of that so you can play it whenever you need to.
The Pete Frates Foundation. We are going to have a gentleman on. They have an event going this weekend, and we are going to have them on after the break. Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
good. So Dan, if you could write down a couple notes about to help me out here. But we love the Frates Foundation. They're having an event. They reached out. We did stuff with Pete Frates all the time. The family's a wonderful family. You all know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So I want to get the person on the air here. And so we'll do that in a minute. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, and everyone's lives has been touched, certainly at the station, locally, across the world, by the life of Pete Frates, his dad and mom, John and Nancy. We all are friendly with his brother Andrew, his beautiful wife Julie. Everyone loves the family. They do. No one says anything poor about the family. Everyone loves the family. PeteFrates.com and the Frates Foundation is going stronger than ever. And well, on the phone with us right now, we have the executive director of the Frates Foundation, Michael Pitt. Mr. Pitt, hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it is our pleasure, definitely. It's such a wonderful cause. What is going on? You tell us. What do we need to know about the Frates Foundation and what's happening?
So it's hard to believe, but this summer marks the 10-year anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge. So, when Pete kind of first challenged everybody and changed the world with all the awareness and research money that happened. So this event's on Sunday, which is Lou Gehrig's Day, which is recognized by all the Major League Baseball teams this weekend. The Red Sox will be honoring Lou and all the ALS patients this Sunday. And so myself, the Frates family, Ray Bork will be there. We have a big contingent that will be there and representing Pete and continuing his legacy and his mission.
That is great. And if people want to get involved, the best way to do it is PeteFrates.com.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is a big year for us. So we have a lot of events coming this summer. The Red Sox are commemorating the Ice Bucket Challenge August 1st on the field with a large contingent. And then Ray has his annual Captain's Ball Gala in September. So those are just kind of the highlights. But, yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff. And anybody who wants to help and donate and support the families and PeteFrates.com.
All right. And you know what the exciting news is, Michael, is that I am going to be at that game on Sunday. So
all right.
So the star power will be in the stands. I'll have you know that.
Thank God.
Absolutely. Well, come on up to the 521. We'll be up there.
Yeah, they'll just let me right up. Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they'll just go. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, my face is my ticket. But listen,
Michael, feel free to throw a plug for the Pete Frates Golf Classic, which I see is happening. You know what, Fred? It's all for the same cause, and just because it's golf doesn't mean it deserves any extra attention.
I'm saying, oh God, because you obviously want to focus on the golf.
Let's not look past all the different ways we can participate. Michael, is that August 26th, I believe?
Yes, sir. Yep, up at Turner Hill. It's our annual golf classic. We're taking teams now. We got foursomes going. So we have a sellout every year. I'd love to have you guys get anybody involved. And it's, like I said, it's a big year for us and for the foundation, given the fact that the foundation wasn't around 10 years ago when all the donation money was coming in. So hoping to re-spark some things this year and get us on a good footing and help continue Pete's name and legacy.
Yeah, it's very important because as these things go, the Ice Bucket Challenge was such a huge worldwide phenomenon. It's important that the momentum is not lost. It's important. The problem is obviously not over, and research and money is required and everything else. So it's very important that we remember, as we did 10 years ago, the cause of ALS, and PeteFrates.com. Sunday at the Red Sox game, Lou Gehrig's Day. The whole Frates family will be out there. Ray Bork will be out there. It's going to be great. And Michael Pitt, you do great work. And anytime you want to come on and talk, please, by all means, do so.
Hey, thank you guys so much. And, I look forward to seeing you at the game Sunday.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
There you go. The great why can't
Michael
I control?
Pitt.
Yeah, I was looking at the phone.
All right.
I remembered.
Did you?
I have it all written down right in front of me, baby.
And once again, you were invited to go somewhere at a sporting event that you won't be able to go, which is, it happens a lot. It happens to you, happens to me. Oh, you're going to be at the game? Just come on down to the field, or come on down to the broadcast table, or come up to the press box, say hello. How does one do that?
There's nothing worse than when I took my son to the Patriots game And I was like, and he's like, I want to see like where they broadcast from. And it was like, I'm like, okay. And then, but we just had like, I got tickets like through the station.
Yeah.
And then like navigating it's so embarrassing. And then and like, if it was just me and a friend, I'd be like, screw it. But it's my when it's one of your kids, like I just feel, I don't even know if it's pride or if it's because I want it. I don't know if it's because I want him to experience it or it's the pride of just being able to do it. Whatever reason, like then it's like this series of negotiations with people that is.
It's really just Scotty. You just gotta know Scotty, and if you're with Scotty, you're good.
Is he the security guard in front of it?
Said, yeah.
I didn't know Scotty.
Scotty's a guy to know.
I didn't know Scotty.
Yeah.
But there you go. I know Scotty Z, who's
Yeah,
here
Scotty
right now.
Z just
That's the
walked
most
in.
important thing.
And that's the most important thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as you know Scotty Z.
And just because Scotty was blocking traffic doesn't mean he has the right to do so. Scott Zolak. Hello, sir.
I'm for funding. Like I say, fund.
Fund what?
Police.
Oh yeah,
I know
yeah.
You guys were talking about it today. But.
Yeah. I'm
Hell
pro.
yeah.
I'm
Fred likes to
pro-police.
paint me as a defund the police.
Why do you
guy.
do this to him?
Because it gets him pissed off. It's funny to me.
I got to go down to my tent on Boston Common. That's where we are this
So
week.
did you finally believe me about the touchdown song?
Oh yeah. Do you know what the touchdown song used to be before it was "This Is Our House"?
What?
Do you remember?
Gary Glitter.
Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2.
Oh yeah, you
Hey!
know. Yeah.
Great Patriot memories there are.
Remember the snow game with Brewski's pick six, and they simultaneously threw the snow in the air when they went, "Hey!"
Zoe has been advocating for bringing
I'm
it
going to
back.
bring it back.
Okay, well that is our
Yeah, why won't they bring it back?
They played in the garden. They played it. No,
They do. They
played it in
played
the
at the
garden
garden.
this year. He and I were sitting there, and I'm like, dude, they're playing it. I texted.
Did they also have Jared from Subway come in and give a speech at halftime?
I want to announce
Gary
this before
Glitter's,
anyone else beats us to it. Summer programming here on Toucher and Hardy. We will be auditioning songs to be the new Patriots touchdown song.
Huh?
You like
I
that?
like that. Yeah, of course I do.
Well, that's what we're doing.
That's a new bit. Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of
How
many
do I-
bits we'll be doing this summer.
I have like 20 things to sign up for that. Like, how do?
Yeah. All right.
Email
well,
you.
Yes.
Pitbull. Sure.
Well, I don't think that you're. I think it would be you made your own song, John, not you just
John,
a Pitbull
I
song.
understand.
You know what? But John's
I don't
right.
think you did.
It's got to hit. Because Beetle and I were trying to do this with the Stones yesterday, and it wasn't happening.
Did you go to the Rolling Stones last night?
No.
But he saw Mick Jagger.
I saw him at a private party
Oh yeah. Okay.
He saw him this week somewhere else.
in Boston on Beacon Street, walking with 8 men.
Yeah. I heard about him in L.A.
The glasses on and a black hat and head down.
Yeah.
You
Like
can't make eye contact with this guy.
I don't blame him, but he went to this restaurant in Vegas, and it was like this whole thing because he made him close it. Well, they did it, so they didn't make him, but he asked them to close the restaurant down, and he came in with like legit like 8 bodyguards.
Well, they walk around him. It's like a bubble. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this is weird.
It is weird. Like Steven Tyler isn't as famous as Mick Jagger, but Steven Tyler like walks around.
He sits at a diner in Cape Cod. I've talked to him.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, my friend saw Joe Rogan at a grocery store. He lives in Austin, and he said he had like guys hiding. Like they weren't only security guards, but there were dudes like hiding,
Pretending to shop. I mean,
Yeah,
People
sort
on
of.
rooftops.
Filling up
Oh,
a
yeah.
Yeah, like, and then when he noted, like in the parking lot, there were dudes like walking like away, but that you could tell they were like Rogan's guys. Like it was pretty. And I don't blame Rogan. Believe me, I don't blame Rogan. Say one thing, and I mean, I got something going on.
Jagger had 8 guys. We've got one guy
Yeah,
for.
I got one guy. I got
You're
one
the guy.
Yeah. Oh, the ladies love this guy. They love him. Oh, they've made several comments. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great weekend. If you're at the Red Sox game on Sunday, support the Frates Foundation. And come say hi to me so I look like a big shot. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.